UFC 299 is supposed to be better than UFC 300. Jacob still doesn't know how the Mac camera emoji system works.
I literally have never seen that one. I'm gonna look
balloons?
up how. Yeah, I've never seen the balloon one.
There's balloons, fireworks, thumbs up.
That took me aback.
Either way, UFC 299 is supposed to be better than 300. That's the rumor. The rumor is that the UFC wants Sean O'Malley to be a star so bad that they will stack his fight cards to artificially inflate pay-per-view numbers. I don't know if that's true or not, but Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC 299 fight card, giving you our picks, predictions, bets, and DraftKings plays. But before I do, let's look at the success that pay-per-views have been for us. Specifically, the pay-per-views in 2024. Safety Parlay undefeated on the pay-per-views in 2024 for 1.84 units of net profit. That is a 92% ROI. Combined, Jacob and I have given you almost 8 units of net profit over the 2 pay-per-views in 2024 for 37% ROI. Yeah. Oh, that's like a mega dad.
I'm looking up all the ones you could do.
Either way, pay-per-views have been wildly successful for us, not just this year, but years past as well. You could call us the pay-per-view bandits, the pay-per-view boys, the pay-per-view buddies. I'm out of names. I'm not that creative. If we look at the Safety Parlay a little closer, it does continue to be a success. 5-0 in the last 5 pay-per-views for 5.2 units of net profit. I have hit 9 of the last 11 Safety Parlays with a 71% event winning percentage and a 29% lifetime ROI.
Guys, for the love of God, it's fucking $10. It's $2.50 a fucking week. Support the channel. What are you doing? You have fucking $10. I know that you guys spend $10, $20, $30 on these girls' OnlyFans pages a month, and you get nothing in return because you got to spend more to send the messages, to have interactions with them, and then you got to spend more to get the videos, and then you want to customize the video, so you got to spend even more on the customized video. Save your money. Get something in return. $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. And maybe we'll do an OnlyFans eventually. I have one, but we're trying to get you involved.
Well, either way, thank you for the pitch. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that'll have a premium service, but nobody's compares to ours. Because not only do you get the Safety Parlay, which is tried and true, all the picks, all the bets, the round line leans, you're also going to get tools. Teach a man the fish. The line movement tracker is one of those tools. It's going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every single fighter on every single card. You're also, don't do a thumbs down, rainstorm.
Well,
you're also going to get the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. 38 columns of information that you can use to find your spots specifically for prop bets. That's where I find it most useful. You're also going to get the best DraftKings ownership projections in the game. If you don't know what DraftKings ownership projections are, why they're important, they're for daily fantasy. DraftKings Daily Fantasy. You build a lineup, you have a budget, you compete with your lineup against other people. The ownership projections help you build lineups that separate you from the rest of the pack. And we quite literally have the best ownership projections in the game. Those are preloaded into the...
What?
I slipped up, and you're going to jump on that while taking a duck face selfie.
That was a great
You
picture,
are going
too.
to sit there...
Good.
You're going to sit there taking a duck-faced selfie for the gram and then criticize me because I slipped up on one letter in a word?
And that was a...
Who's the one that should be embarrassed right now?
That was going to be a great picture, and I literally laughed, and it was blurry. As I was taking that, I was like, oh, that's the one. And then you fucked it up.
One of us should absolutely be embarrassed, and it's not me. It's definitely not me. Those DraftKings ownership projections will be preloaded into the optimizer. The optimizer will build lineups for you. It'll build one lineup. It'll build 150 lineups for you with just a few click of the buttons. And what separates this optimizer from every other optimizer on the planet are the ownership projections. The best ownership projections on the planet. This is an objective fact. I'm almost done. And here is what our DraftKings Fantasy can do for you. This is from Saturday. This is from UFC Vegas 87. Last week, we had a $24,000 ticket. We have almost $500,000 in DraftKings tickets in the last 6 months. These are not coincidences. These are not accidents. This is because the data, the information, the insight, and more are that insanely valuable. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's only freaking $10. You're going to get not only this event, but the next 3 as well. And finally, If you don't know, we have a perfect pick contest. Right? It's supposed to be moving.
Wow.
We have a perfect pick. If you go to WeWantPicks.com, there's a button that says enter your picks. Click that button. It costs nothing. You don't need to be a premium member. Nothing. You click that button. You enter your picks for the card. And if you pick the card correct, we send you $100. Two people picked UFC Vegas 87 correctly. Is my camera doing... No, it's flashing, making weird colors at me because I did a peace sign to it. Anyway, two people picked this card perfectly, and I sent them both $100. Anthony Santasteven and Anderson. Aldo, congratulations to you guys. You already have your money. If you guys want to take your crack at a free $100, just go to WeWantPicks.com and click the enter picks button. It costs nothing. Jakey boy, you ready to break down this card? We have 14 fights.
How do my shoulders look?
Scrawny.
I disagree. I did shoulders today, and they feel like they're getting pretty wide. They look pretty good. I mean, look at this.
Transparent.
I gotta fucking work these out, carrying your dumb ass on YouTube last year.
Okay. First up, at UFC 299, we have Joanne Wood taking on Maryna Moroz in a rematch from all the way back in 2015. Maryna Moroz won that fight by submission, but these are two very different fighters 9 years later. We have Joanne Wood, formerly Joanne Calderwood, 16-8 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. She is coming off of a split decision win over Luana Carolina. Loss over Luana Carolina. No, win over Luana Carolina. Yes,
All
win.
I do is win.
She's taking on Maryna Moroz, 11-5
Is that
overall.
your new strategy, by the way?
What?
Just to fucking plow over me when you feel the song is coming on?
Yeah, because you'll just sing like an idiot. And
Well,
then
if
it's
you
just
give me
easier to
space,
keep
I mean,
moving.
that was a good idea because I did stop. So, all right, no more interruptions.
She's taking on Maryna Moroz. We have 14 fights. This is going to be a 9-hour podcast.
Come on.
Maryna Moroz, 11-5 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She is on a 3-fight skid. This is an interesting fight. We have one of many fights on this card. We have an aging vet and sort of a younger, this case isn't quite as dramatic, but then a younger, more up-and-coming type fighter. Joanne Wood is a little older, but with that comes experience and technique. She is a technical striker, solid kicks, good pressure. She mixes up those techniques well with elbows, knees, kicks, and punches, and then she will decide to grapple. She does have some decent takedowns and decent takedown defense. She likes to dictate the pace. She's got some solid volume, impressive striking differential of 7-5. So she's landing 7 significant strikes. She is only hit with 5 in return, and that becomes even more impressive when you zoom out and look at the people she has been fighting over the last 10 years while still achieving a positive striking differential. She is getting a little older. She is slowing down, and she did just narrowly avoid a 4-fight skid with that split decision against Luana Carolina. She's taking on Maryna Moroz. She's a busy striker. She mixes her techniques up pretty well. Nice movement on her feet. She does not fight inside the pocket. She likes to stay on the outside. If she does end up inside the pocket, she'll get hit. She has a negative striking differential. She has hit more than she hits her opponents, but she does have the ability to work in some takedowns when she needs to, and she is coming off that submission loss to Karine Silva, where she was knocked down as well.
Ooh.
I mentioned rematch from 2015. Maryna won that fight, but I don't think that
How much did you weigh in 2015?
9 years ago? Oh, dude, that was my heyday, dude. I looked great 9 years ago. Before the kids, before Tiffany and her Southern cooking, I looked fantastic 9 years ago. Such thick hair.
I've seen some
Yeah, you've
pictures.
seen
They
pictures.
look, I'm not sure if those are real. You might have planted those. As soon as
Dude,
they came out, you were the first one there.
The glow down that I had is incredible. Like, quite the glow down.
I mean, we literally... When we met, it literally was when we met. Like we crossed streams, and I took off, and you.
I mean, it honestly, like, just in great shape, training all the time, the thickest hair you've ever seen,
was when we met.
tan as shit. Like, I looked unbelievable for so long. That's how I'm so cocky yet.
All right,
look
get back
like
to the
this. I don't think that rematch matters. I don't think it matters that it's a rematch. Who cares who won this fight 9 years ago? I think they're very different fighters. They've had very different careers. Joanne Wood has had the better career since that fight. She lost that fight, and since then, her only losses are to top 5 fighters and champions, where Maryna Moroz has had a mixed bag of success against mid-level opposition. I think Joanne Wood is a phenomenal underdog. I cannot believe she is continuing to become an even larger underdog as this week goes on, especially the people that believe in the OnlyFans fade. Well, then Maryna should be your fade. I'm all about Joanne Calderwood this week, or Joanne Wood. I think she wins this fight. The only reason I haven't bet it yet is she is continuing to become a bigger and bigger dog. Then I was like, let me protect myself. Let me do a plus 3.5 bet. That's juiced. So these odds are basically saying Maryna Moroz is going to win, 2-1 favorite, but we know it's going to be a close fight. So -1, whatever the hell,
-165,
which is a lot considering the odds are plus 190. So anyway, I'm picking Joanne Wood. I'm going to keep an eye on this line, and if she becomes an even bigger dog, I'm throw a little bit on there and see what happens. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, and I just want to say the following. This is just part of the research, right? This is nothing personal. This is not like a thirsty whatever. But if you guys are interested, you can type in Maryna Moroz into Google.
It's not Maryna.
What is it?
Maryna.
You can type in Maryna Moroz space LEGS and you hit enter. You go to, you go to images, and that first image you're going to see is going to tell you everything you need to know about Maryna Moroz. I tell you that right now. Listen, I was talking about Vitor Petrino last week and those legs. Are you actually looking at it right now?
I did.
Yeah, I saw your eyes light up. I saw you.
Well, because I was like, what is the first? Well, because there's a picture on Twitter of just everything. So I was like, what picture just on Google? Yeah. Can you do your breakdown, please?
I don't know if I can anymore. Do you have more to talk about? Is there more in the script? Because I got to go to Twitter now. Holy shit. All right, I'll resist the urge, I guess. But I was talking about Vitor Petrino's legs last week, and I think Moroz has outdone him, unfortunately, the Vitor. But I kind of agree with you. I believe that at the minus whatever this has turned into, minus at the moment right now, it's minus 214. I think she even was at minus 230 at one point. That feels like, to me, honestly, the worst value on the card. I think she's going to win. I think she's going to win the fight. But I agree. This is a very, very close fight, especially if Moroz can't get the takedowns. I believe that she is going to get enough takedowns and enough rounds to win this fight. But if she can get the takedowns, this is a very 50-50 fight on the feet. Moroz is probably the more, like, complete MMA style striking, because Wood is just like that Muay Thai kickboxing, and Moroz will kind of bounce in and out. But a lot of her strikes are empty strikes. She will stay at range, and she just cannot find range in her striking. She will just miss and miss and miss. And if push comes to shove, and this does turn into a striking match for the majority of the fight, and this is a 1-1 fight or a close fight going into the third round, Joanne Wood showed off in the last fight what she can do in the third round in a close fight. She threw over 100 strikes in the third round. She was moving forward. So if this is a close fight, honestly, I trust Joanne Wood to win that third round. Unfortunately, I do believe there's going to be some clinch positions. I do believe Moroz is going to get this fight to the ground in the first, in the second, to win those rounds, and then probably coast in the third. But I'm going Moroz here. I don't love it, but I do,
Love it. Yeah, I get it. Now, listen, I totally understand. And there's an age difference here. There's a lot of matches like this on the card with an older, about to retire veteran versus sort of a younger, could potentially be something type prospect. Maryna's a little older than that, but I totally understand. And people picking Moroz, it's not crazy to pick her. She has a clear path to victory here. I just think that these odds are insane. And I think Joanne Wood can win this fight. Tried and true vet. Yes, she was submitted by Maryna 9 years ago. And somebody commented,
are we going to talk about our fight in 9 years and be like, it was 9 years ago?
I'm run it back in 9 years. What do I care? I'm the one.
No, I'm just saying, like, in 9 years, it would be like, it doesn't, And I'm not seeing this picture you're talking about on Twitter. It's on her Twitter? Or just on Twitter?
No, it's just on Twitter. I saw somebody say, here's the OnlyFans fade.
Yeah, I know what.
Somebody said, here's the OnlyFans fade.
You kind of just told on yourself.
All right, anyway. What I was saying there was, Maryna submitted Joanne Wood 9 years ago, and somebody commented, you think Joanne's gotten better since then, but she's been submitted 4 times since then. But the most important part of it, look at her opponents. They're all champions or former champions or top 5 people, where Maryna's losing to, regular ass people. Anyway.
What? Karina Silver's a regular ass person?
That's her most recent loss. She has other losses as well.
What is your deal?
If you guys want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and be notified if and when I do place a bet on Joanne Wood, just become a premium member. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, and you'll unlock everything you have ever wanted or needed heading into fight week.
Yo, D, send it to me on Twitter. I can't fucking find it. And
we do have a super chat from Evan Mouse. He says, I love you guys. Long live the Sugar era. Lock of the week for the win, JT.
Ooh,
so
you hit the for the win. I was wondering if you were going to hit that.
Well, that's a common one that has existed.
Well, I don't know.
Quite some time.
I don't know. I saw it ahead of time. I read ahead and I was like, this should be good. FTW.
Fatu Jit. But Jacob's underdog lock of the week was Sean O'Malley in his last fight. 2-1 dog. Won with that knockout. Everybody thought Jacob was a genius.
Boom.
But it is funny how quickly you go from underdog genius to loser that should be faded every week. It's just so funny how volatile.
The craziest part is before 2020, my dog just jumped on the bed next to me. He scared the fucking shit out of me, I'll be honest with you. But
so that is a studio apartment, and your bed is directly next to your desk. Got it.
Yeah, this is my third bedroom in an apartment that I live in by myself. Right. That is correct.
So very lonely.
I'm okay to be alone.
Echoey.
I'm not somebody that needs no. I'm not somebody that needs companionship all the time, like a fucking lost puppy dog running around, right? I'm a fucking emu, just fucking. I'm out here.
Your neck is skinny like an emu's
I'm just fucking strutting my shit out here. Don't need nobody at no time. They come in and out. I got 15 girls that have keys to my place. They just show up whenever they want, and we're locked in.
What were you about to say?
I honestly don't remember anymore.
Something about lock of the week.
It's crazy that before 2024 started, before the cards start back up, I literally said I'm going 10-0 to start the year. I start off 4-0, and then the last 3 lock of the weeks, they've all been winning. Paulo Costa was winning. Christian Quinones was smoking them. Lion King was smoking them. I literally could be 7-0 right now. It's crazy.
They're good reads. I'm with you. They're good reads. Just, fist fights are fist fights. That's why we love this sport so much. Next up, at UFC 299, we have the always exciting CJ Vergara taking on young prospect Asu Almabaev. CJ Vergara, 12-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back wins. He's taking on Asu Almabaev, 18-2 overall. He's 5-0 in his last 5, and then he is on a 14-fight win streak. This should be a really fun fight because CJ Vergara is a high-pressure guy. Solid forward motion, clean boxing.
And I promise it's usually more professional than this, guys. Make sure you like the stream, by the way, if you haven't. And
subscribe. We never ask people to subscribe. They're doing it in droves, and we appreciate that, but we never ask them to. And YouTube says you're supposed to ask people to subscribe.
Listen here, motherfucker. If you don't fucking subscribe to this channel right now.
Okay, nobody needs the ASMR. CJ Vergara is a high-pressured striker. Solid forward motion. He's got good boxing, solid knees. He does like to fight inside the pocket, and then he'll use some clinch work and showcase some power. He has a never say die attitude. He has 0 recorded takedowns in the UFC, but if it does end up on the ground, he's got some good BJJ and some solid scramble skills to work his way back up. He is coming off that decision win over Vinicius Salvador, where he landed more meaningful strikes and did defend some takedowns. He's taking on prospect Asu Almabaev. This guy's a flashy striker, a dominant grappler. He can control the striking range and even work in some spinning attacks before shooting the big takedowns and controlling on top. He does not go looking for submissions when he's on top. He does do a great job of snatching them up in scrambles, though. He is strong, sets a great pace himself, and he has plenty of cardio. He is coming off that submission win over Ode Osborne, where he was backing up, but he threw huge wild punches and had fantastic takedowns. I got to go with Sue here. I love CJ Vergara. His fighting style, his ability to weather a storm is nuts. This guy is nuts tough. We saw that in the Lacerda fight, but I think Asu is just too good. He's wild on his feet. He's great on the ground. He can hang in the cardio department. And quite simply, if Tatsuro Taira has taken CJ down 3 times, and Tatsuro is very good, I get that. If Tatsuro Taira has taken CJ down 3 times, Asu is going to do all those things as well. So I like Asu to win here. His odds are getting a little wider, but I think the value is honestly still there. I think he's that good What do you think, Jakey boy?
I do like Asu. I do think he's going to win this fight. I do have money on him.
No, we're not Dr. Seuss.
But I also...
That was a very Dr. Seuss cadence you had going there.
It's just natural. I'm a poet. I'm a rapper. It's just what I do. It's just ba 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 ba. Yo, what's the salamander? What we gonna do?
I gotta stop saying shit because you get so off track. Your ADD is just not tameable.
Honestly, thank God you stopped me because I didn't know what was gonna. I had nothing left after that. So I do worry about Asu in this matchup. Listen, he is an all-in grappler and he's a very good wrestler. He can get the takedowns. Even if he misses a couple, he's not gonna get discouraged. He's gonna go back to your legs. I mean, he will just pick your ankle. He will get on a single. He will take you down. I do worry a little bit because in the striking, as you mentioned, that fight against Ode, he was sloppy. And a lot of that, the big striking was to get to the takedowns, right? You see that a lot with wrestlers, the big overhand shots to level change to get to a leg. And there was some of that, but there was also some just fucking winging shit. And if he gets to a point in this fight where, let's say, he can't get a couple takedowns and he starts doing that wild shit for a little bit too long, CJ is going to be I think he's going to be the better striker in this matchup. And if you watch that Tatsuro Taira fight, CJ, I know he's been submitted before when he was submitted in that fight, but he has very good, not only submission defense, but really good sweeps. I mean, he swept Taira from the bottom. He got a head and arm laying on his back, swept him into like a full mount position. So I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for Asu. He is the better fighter, the better wrestler, the better grappler. He should get it done. But CJ Vergara is not a bitch. This guy is good, and I would not be surprised if this turns into a little bit of a sweat situation. But I think Asu's going to be tough enough to be able to get it done. But, I mean, after seeing Javid last week, when he was, like, kind of getting, like, desperate with the takedowns and looked terrible, and then after he got it, it was like, I don't think it's going to turn into that. But if Asu is missing takedowns early, I'm not going to feel great about it, but he should be able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the only reason Javid lost that fight last week is because he was shooting those half-ass takedowns, wasn't getting him, and it made him look desperate. And the judges just did not like that look. That's not Asu, though.
Yeah, he's
Asu is trying to finish fights. He's not trying to win on points. He will come forward. He will stay aggressive, and plenty of cardio. He's not going to slow down either. So this should be a banger, and I do think that the wrestling will be the difference. Where CJ is insanely tough, he's not a guy you get out of there very easily, especially not with strikes, but he can be taken down, and I think
he can be taken down. He's actually got pretty good takedown defense, but he can get taken down, and once he's on his back, he does have decent sweeps, but he also will get controlled as well. And what Asu does best, as you mentioned, is control people once he's on top. So
yeah. No, I think he's...
I like that, huh?
It was effeminate. Like, that part is very feminine, but the only way to put chapstick on and be a man about it is to grab it like this. Like, it is what it is, man. Lips are dry. What am I going to do?
Do that again now?
I didn't go in. I went left to right. I went left to right.
If you don't mind, I just missed it.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I did a roll the dice motion in my quick picks. I'm like, uh-oh. I know what a roll the dice motion looks like. Thank God that wasn't on camera. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we are both on the Asu Almabaev side. If we're talking about DraftKings pricing, $9,500 for your DraftKings fantasy lineup, he's probably going to be worth that money. I do see a lot of takedowns, which score well, potentially a submission finish, which obviously will score well. I think Asu may be worth that money, especially with how DraftKings scoring works. What do you think, Jakey Bambalotes?
I think he's definitely an interesting play for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to unlock the DraftKings plays, the optimizer, the picks, the bets, the round line leans, all the tools and everything else you could ever imagine, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. We do have 335 people watching live.
Oh, Jesus. I thought there was a fucking donate. I thought you were talking about a $300 donate. I was like, what?
No.
Jesus
I would have
Christ.
interrupted my own speech.
There's no way somebody would there's no way somebody would donate $300. That's crazy.
Shut up, dude.
That's crazy. There's not a chance.
We do have, and the timing of this is, we do have a $2 super chat from Luis Rodriguez. He said, for Jacob to sing more Usher. Listen, you guys are not going to buy distractions. I'll let him go for a minute, and that's it.
It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets. Oh, yeah.
That's it. Nope, the pause was it.
I got a real pretty, pretty little thing that's
Damn it, there was 2 donations about Usher.
I pull up anticipating good love. Don't keep me waiting. Get this thing off my fucking street. I got plans to put my hands in places I've never seen. Girl, you know what I mean. Let me take you to a place nice and quiet. There ain't no one that you.
We gotta be done. You gotta be done. Next up at UFC 299, we have very, very hyped prospect Robelis Despaigne taking on Josh Parisian. Robelis Despaigne, an Olympian, a bronze medalist in Taekwondo, making his official UFC debut after going 4-0 in MMA very, very early in his career. 4-0 in his entire MMA career. And he's taking on veteran Josh Parisian. Josh Parisian, 15-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses. What's interesting about Robelis only being 4-0, he's the older fighter in this matchup. He's 35 years old, taking on the slightly younger 34-year-old Josh Parisian. And I don't think that matters for this matchup, but it does matter if you're trying to build a superstar. It's a little bit late in the career to do that. But Robelis Despaigne, this guy is a monster of a human being. This picture tells the whole story. This guy is 6'7", an Olympic Taekwondo medalist. People will argue, well, it was bronze by default. Regardless, he made the Olympic team, worked his way through the tournament, and if you want to disparage third, then disparage third. But this guy is one of the best Taekwondo athletes on planet Earth, and he happens to be absolutely massive. There's not a lot of footage of his MMA career. He only has 4 fights total, and the cumulative total of minutes that he has fought, his last 3 fights, 19 seconds. 19 seconds in his last 3 fights. It is insane how dangerous he is. Okay. He clearly has power in both of his hands and his feet. If you go watch his Taekwondo matches, you're going to see the speed, the athleticism, and the timing as well. He does get hit, though. Even in those 19 seconds of MMA in his last 3 fights, his hands are low, and he gets blasted in the face. It has not been an issue just yet because nobody has had that power that is needed to put him out, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. We do know that he's insanely powerful. We do know that he's very athletic. We don't necessarily know how good his takedown defense is because you haven't seen much of it, no matter how much digging you're going to do on the tape. He's taking on Josh Parisian. This guy's a striker. He's going to move forward. A lot of output. He's a very busy striker. He's going to throw punches for 15 full minutes. Doesn't have a ton of power, and that does fade even more as the fight goes on. You're going to see he has 10 knockouts on his record, but that was against some regional guys, and frankly, they were like TKO because he's just so busy. He doesn't have that typical heavyweight power. He is a volume guy. He relies on that pressure, an occasional takedown here and there. He's coming off that submission loss to Martin Budai, where he was able to showcase just how insanely tough he is. Robelis, his line is collapsing here. Collapse is a very dramatic word. Was minus 500, now down to minus 310. All of a sudden, maybe that line's not so bad. When he was 400 something, I thought that was a bit much. 4-1 favorite. Yeah, a massive human being. Yes, insane power. Yes, an Olympian. But he is fighting a very tough Josh Parisian. And Josh Parisian is a massive step up in competition. He has 6 times the amount of MMA experience. But what's working in Robelis' favor is Josh Parisian has no power. He's not a one-punch knockout guy. It will be interesting to see what happens if Robelis doesn't get an early knockout, and all of a sudden we're in the second round of this fight, and Josh Parisian's still there, tough, with energy, moving forward. But Robelis is going to be my pick. I do like that this line is tightening, and if we get anywhere near a 200 line, I'll do something with that. I mean, I do think he wins this fight. It was scary when he was in the 400s, but he's now a 3-1 favorite instead of a 5-1 favorite. Things are looking a little better. What do you think, Jakey boy?
He's like 320 right now, and I imagine that's probably as low as it feels like it's going to get wider once people see this guy and they start looking at this fight and they're like, wait, he's a what? And he's done what in his last few fights? And then God bless him, but they see a picture of Josh Parisian and those fucking nipples. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, let me lay some money on this Robelis dude, and I think he's going to get it done. I mean, Josh, what he needs to do is find some way to get inside this Taekwondo Taekwondo stance, which that's the hardest thing to get inside, right? The Taekwondo, the Capoeira type fighting that we'll see later with Michel, Pereira. Those guys are just so wild and so rangy with the way that they strike. It's hard to get inside, but Josh has got to find a way to get inside and just fucking grab this dude and hold him for as long as he fucking can and just hope that this guy gets tired, because in space, we've seen what this guy Robelis can do. It's what he does best. I don't think that Josh even really has the takedowns. I'm sure that Robelis knows at this point, right? That's what people are going to want to do, and I would hope and pray that that's pretty much all he's been working on, because you don't really need to work on the striking. You got that figured out. So I think Robelis comes in and smokes this guy. The UFC knew, right? Sometimes they have these matchups. They have this Robelis guy. Let's throw him on the prelims. Who can we match him up with? And unfortunately, Josh got that phone call. He's just a little bit too stationary in the middle of the octagon, and I think he's going to be a sitting duck, and I think it's going to be on the third punch Robelis throws. Pop, pop.
Josh is tough, dude. We saw his toughness in his last fight.
What does that mean? Means you get fucking hit, and this guy seems to be able to put people's lights out fucking quick.
Oh, listen, I think Robelis is going to win. What is interesting here is I think he wins this fight. The UFC does not have a ton of time, and heavyweights can last a little longer than most fighters in their career, or most weight classes, right? You can fight to 38, 39 and like still have success at heavyweight, but they don't have a ton of time to build him into something. He might get the Shamil treatment. Knock out Josh Parisian, they main event him, and he gets smoked because he's just not a complete MMA fighter.
Well, with this guy, this guy in the state of the heavyweight division, I guarantee that this guy gets like the Alex Pereira treatment. If he comes in and smokes Josh Parisian, they're going to give him like a middle of the road, whatever, and then it could be like, boom, if he smokes that guy, like here's a number one contender, like at the end of the year or something, if it's easy for him. I think that's what they want to do with him.
Yeah, I mean, I do think $9,300 is a high price to pay in DraftKings. It will be interesting because if he gets a knockout in under 1 minute, you get those extra DraftKings points, and all of a sudden he's scoring 120 points. But if he does knock out Josh Parisian and he does it at 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, all of a sudden he scores 90 points, and he's not worth the $9,300. So I actually am going to spend my DraftKings salary on. If I had to choose between him and Asu, I'll take the guy that has plenty of takedowns and all of that than, the one-punch kind of guy.
Yeah, and you don't know really how he's going to react in front of the – I mean, obviously he's been –
he's been on a very high level. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a little bit different, right? You're not really experiencing MMA. At that point, he was so experienced. He was comfortable with his craft. MMA, there's still a lot of question marks, so you don't know how he's going to react. But I still like him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he should absolutely win this fight. But if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the tools, the insight, and everything else that we do, it's only $10 a month. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You instantly have access to every single thing we offer for an entire month. That is 4 events for that $10. $2.50 an event. You literally cannot beat that. It's not some Patreon with a list of a couple of bets that we're going to tweet out for free anyway. It is a full-blown interactive website customized to you and your needs. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. We have an insane amount of super chats to get to. We have a $10 super chat from Riffraff. Riffraff has been insanely generous over the last couple of years. He sent us multiple gifts, and now $10. He's a 10 spot for Jacob to stop karaoke. Thank you very much. Honor his wishes. Riffraff, this is the best thing you've ever sent. We have Menace with the 279 Canadian. What's up, guys? Free me. Nope, you are banned in the Discord. You're just, not a great look in the Discord, bud. Thanks for the 279 Canadian. D, Jacob's boy D, who is actually quite the supporter, has now become a member on YouTube. D is always the first comment on my Fight Foods vlogs, and I notice you, and I appreciate that. Dr. Y,
thank you, D.
Always generous, sent the belt that I beat the shit out of Jacob and took home with me. I would put money on Angelo versus Josh Parisian.
You guys have the same nipples.
If Josh can't defend it, I'm actually physically looking better than him right now, which is shocking. All I did was cut out some. Dude,
prove it.
I just did.
Prove it. Those
I
bruises
just
have been
did.
there forever.
They're new bruises.
Look, what's that? Oh, what's
diabetes.
That disease calls when you bruise easily?
It's just rolling. Then we have Bet Slam with Sam. This is New Zealand Sam. 3 fighters, total records.
You got
1 and 4.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. EDS, man. You got Ehlers-Danlos.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Robelis' recent record. Of course, he's fighting guys with losing records and bummish, but the reality is those are his first ever MMA fights. He's got to work his way up. Sam Rizzuto, $1.99. When do we get a pay-per-view stream with Angelo? Here's the thing about pay-per-views. If you watch the Fight Foods vlogs, you'll see that I usually cook a bunch of food, have some people over.
People.
Your people, Casey comes, Bo comes. Bo's not going to be here this week either. I saw him at a birthday party, and I said, Jacob said he hasn't seen you since October. And he's like, it's crazy.
He said he's coming this week or no?
Not. What? I said, you around for $2.99? He said, man. He's like, we got to go to my wife's family's house.
It literally is because we actually fought, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't
now
want to.
Now he knows. There's smoke.
Brought up.
Yeah, there's smoke. He's been threatening to fight me for years. He's 6'8". He thinks that matters. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
I got to that same
anyway,
crazy.
The pay-per-views, I have people over. We watch the fight. Like, it's a very different environment. And if we did a live stream, it would literally just be us watching the fights. You're going to get close to a live stream with Jacob and I. It's not released that night. But the Fight Foods vlogs, we now mic up and live react to everything. So check those out to get our live reactions. Maybe eventually we'll evolve it. But, like, if I have neighbors over, I can't be like, hey, we're live. Like,
because usually we have our hands off, too.
Oh, Archie, $2. What round will Cheeto start fighting versus O'Malley? Well, definitely not the first. Maybe the second, and hopefully the second. He is a very slow starter.
I think it's going to be fired up. I think it's going to be Sean that's going to be the little pussy in there.
Mo Sharif sent 2 super chats because he looks like he messed up the comment. The first one, we appreciate that. And he said, when do you send out the 50? So he's talking about the $50. If you go to the website /bets, you sign up using our link, we send you $50 as a thank you. It depends on the volume, Mo. I'm the one who does it. I literally have to manually verify every single account, make sure that it's a valid account, it's in the affiliate portal, make sure there's a deposit, and then pay you. And it depends. It's like the longest it'll be is a week, but sometimes it's the next day. It has to at least be a day for it to flow through the system so I can see it. But it's anywhere from a day to a week, depending on which book you signed up with and when you submit your form. Thank you all very much for those generous super chats.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I told you nobody was going to send 300.
Shut the fuck. That makes us seem like greedy and unappreciative.
That's what streamers do. That's so funny. Like, 5 gifted. That deserves a 5 gifted subs. That's what they always do.
Yeah, well, we got premium. Next up, at UFC 299, we have a rebooked fight. We have Philipe Lins taking on Jan Cutelaba. People have commented that this fight is canceled, but I cannot find that information anywhere. And I'm pretty sure it's sarcasm because Philipe Lins has pulled out of an insane amount of fights. This guy literally pulled out of this fight the night that they were supposed to fight. Before the walkout, he's like, nah, I don't feel good. And that was it. He just didn't fight. Made no sense. No official word. I've been digging on the internet. We don't know if it was a stomach bug. We don't know anything. Just, I don't feel good. I'm not fighting. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. I fought with COVID. This could be a decent fight. Would you say you had COVID?
I fought you with COVID, yeah. I didn't pull out.
Well, it wasn't much of a performance. We got Philipe Lins, 17-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak, and he is down at his new weight class of light heavyweight. He's taking on Jan Cutelaba, 17-9 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off of that early win over Tanner Boser. Philipe wins is a former, so that's Jacob diving at my legs while we were boxing. Just completely breaking all the rules.
You can't compete in MMA like me. I thought this was an MMA
Jacob,
channel.
when I said, should we do full MMA, what did you say? What was your response? Let's box instead.
Looks like I'm ready to go, doesn't it? Looks like I'm fucking ready to go.
Well, the good news is I smacked you around standing and then when we grappled. So let's go ahead and get back to this fight breakdown. And if you want to watch the video of me smacking Jacob around, that exists on the channel. Just go to our list of videos. Philipe Lins is a former heavyweight. He's worked down to light heavyweight. He seems to have brought his power with him. He had legit power before. He still seems to have it at this weight class. He is a BJJ black belt, but he would rather hang out inside the pocket and trade strikes or just walk you down with heavy hands. He's coming off that win over Maxim Grishin where he did look to have power and he was swinging heavy, but he went all in on the wrestling, and some of those takedown attempts were insanely low IQ, and they just looked awful. Taking on Jan Cutelaba. This guy is a grappler who happens to have insane power in his hands, and he is happy to fight in a phone booth despite his questionable chin. His chin does not want him fighting in a phone booth because it can't withstand what comes his way. But he can knock you out with one hand. He can take you down whenever he wants. Big power, athletic, fast twitch muscles, not a great chin. And that is always concerning when he gets into these slug fights. Cutelaba gets finished in the losses.
That's
but
your thing, huh?
dude, slug fight's a word. Slug fest is when you guys were saying it wasn't a word. Slug fight's a word. Anyway, Cutelaba gets finished in his losses, but if you look at the losses, it is typically to very good strikers or very good grapplers. Like, he's beating these well-rounded normal fighters. He's losing to the not necessarily elite, but closer to it. And he just smoked Tanner Boser, and I thought Tanner Boser was actually one of the better guys of the weight class, sort of an athletic guy that was decent at stuff, and Cutelaba smoked him. Cutelaba is a tricky guy to break down because he gets finished a ton, but he is insanely dangerous. He's only 6-8-1 in the UFC, but if you look at those 8 losses, they are all to quality people. Philipe Lins would literally be the worst person that Cutelaba has lost to, and I don't think that happens. I think Cutelaba wins this fight, but you cannot spend money on either one of these guys. They are both unreliable. They're both too sloppy. Anything can happen in this fight. I'm just going to watch it and enjoy it. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I'm a little pissed off right now. Somebody said, and I looked this up, and this is not a good situation for this gentleman. Somebody said Jacob looks like Malachi from the Children of the Corn. Are you familiar, Angelo?
No, but I'm sure some skinny ginger standing in the...
What the fuck is this? That doesn't fucking
That looks about right, dude. Actually, tuck your lips a little bit. That's the same person. Yep. That is the exact same person. Dude, that is the exact same person. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure.
I mean, it's kind of a good-looking dude, huh?
Nope.
Now that I'm looking at it.
He's in a horror movie because of how he looks.
Let me tell you.
All right, go ahead. Break down this fight.
This is going to be an interesting fight. Listen, Philipe Lins, what he wants to do at this point in his career down at 205 is kind of swing wild, right? He will swing wild in the pocket, a little bit hands low, but he wants to use that striking to close the distance, to grab you, to push you against the fence, and then try to figure out how he can take you down from there. This guy is a grappler at his core. He will throw wild. And honestly, because he is so willing to throw wild, kind of in the pocket type situation, I like Cutelaba in this fight. Cutelaba, as you mentioned, is a wrestler in his own right. I don't think that Philipe Lins is going to be able to take him down. And as long as Cutelaba brings the same Cutelaba that was fighting Tanner Boser, which was a lot more dialed back, right? He was picking his spots. He wasn't being the typical Hulk screaming and charging across and trying to knock this dude out. And it worked. When you have power, you don't have to chase knockouts. The power will find itself. And I think it's going to find itself in Philipe Lins eventually. But I do also worry that Cutelaba is he is a head case. He's kind of a nut job. And even when he hurt Tanner Boser, he fucking shot a takedown. And everyone's like, why the fuck did he just shoot that takedown? Now, he was able to get the ground and pound right after, but he had the guy almost out and then for whatever reason shot a takedown. If he does it here, he could find himself in some trouble because Philipe is kind of a tough dude, and that's where he wants to be on the ground. Not necessarily off his back, but he's a big, strong dude, a former heavyweight. He could get swept, and I would just avoid it. Let's wait for the knockout shot. It will present itself. Philipe fights hands low. He will throw heavy, touch him on his chin, and just finish him. I'm Cutelaba here, but he's a hard guy to trust.
Yeah, he definitely is. Sorry, I'm adjusting the camera here. He definitely is a hard guy to trust, and I'm not even worried about his fight IQ and decision making. I'm literally just worried about his chin. Like, he is so willing to be exciting that he doesn't care what happens. Doesn't care what comes back his way. Sure. Yeah. He's a heavyweight that brought his power down with him to light heavyweight. So, wow, okay. I'm making weird noises.
You said he's a heavyweight.
Yeah. And somebody just commented Lins is old. He's 38. And you're 100% correct. When we get into these weight classes, it doesn't matter as much. To me, the chin matters more than the age. He does look good.
And both these guys have great nipples. That is what nipples should look like. I like Felipe's a little bit more. I mean, Cutelaba's a little aggressive. A little
protrudy. Yeah, a little protrudy there.
I mean, you're cuddling with that, and you're feeling it.
I would not know, but Philipe Lins is a solid dog here. I picked
You never cuddled somebody with hard nipples, Angelo?
Okay. Cutelaba is going to be the pick. But Philipe Lins is a solid dog, and if you're building your DraftKings lineup, $7,800, if he wins, it will be by finish. But Cutelaba, I mean, it's such a tough fight to pick when you're building your DraftKings lineup. I do think you're going to need exposure to both of them if you're building these large field tournament entries. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I just showed you a $17,000 ticket from last weekend. 2 weekends ago, a $24,000 ticket. And building those type of successful lineups all comes down to your exposure in the large tournaments to some of these underdogs. Woo! So you're gonna need some Philipe Lins exposure there. If you want a full breakdown of the DraftKings fantasy plays and the lineup optimizer and everything else we do, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month, and there are no tiers. There's no 5 for this, 10 for $10. Everything you could ever want or need. We have 450 people watching live between YouTube, Twitch, and subscribe. If you guys are watching right now and you don't subscribe, just click that button. Do us a big old favor. Yeah, just work.
And by the way, can I say something real quick? Every single person that says that I look like fucking Gary Busey's son, I just banned 4 people. So keep saying it.
That was your first chat and your last, buddy. Because he looks like Jamie Malarkey. Next up. At UFC 299. This is a very good card. This could be... What is so funny? A comment or me saying this is a good
buttered
card?
Sausage. You're talking about buttered sausage. I want
this. He does look... Yeah. Anyway. This is a very good card. Michel Pereira versus Michał Oleksiejczuk could be on the main card of a fight night. This could be a fight night co-main event. This is a very good fight.
What?
And it should be a fun fight and an interesting fight. We got Michel Pereira, 29-11 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, looking for his second win at middleweight after moving up. He's taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk. Michał Oleksiejczuk. 19. There's so many. The worst part is I'll watch John Anik. I'll listen to how he says it. And I'm like, okay. And then I go to set it, and it's like the telephone game. Like, it's just not what comes out.
Ooh, telephone game. That was a lot of fun, right?
It was.
Especially
Except
when the hot girl next to you is whispering in your ear, and you feel a little tingle. The hair stand up on your neck, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck she just said. Hey, horny.
Michał. I have a boner. I'm afraid to stand up. Michał Oleksiejczuk is 19-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off the incredible come-from-behind win over Chidi Njokuani. Michel Pereira, we have watched this guy fight for 100 years. That's why every time I break him down, it is shocking that he's only 30 years old. I thought this dude was 46, the amount of fights that we have seen him. He actually looks older, and he's been fighting forever. He's a very fun, exciting guy. He's got that capoeira, that Brazilian dance fighting style, the flips, the swirls.
He looks like he would be a...
hot dad.
No, like a...
Yeah. Hot dad. I'm the hot dad of the neighborhood, and he would be the second hottest dad. Yeah, he'd be the second hottest dad in my neighborhood.
I bet I can go to every other house, and there's a guy better looking than you.
You might be hard pressed to find like the sober Ange.
But anyway, Michel looks like he is like actually 55, but if you saw him, you'd be like, oh, I bet he's 40. You know what I mean? Like he looks like he's like a young. Does that make sense?
Okay, no. He is a capoeira fighter, the Brazilian dance fighter, very flashy kicks, spins, flips, all of those things. And earlier in his career, he was wilder. He has dialed it back. The dialing it back has done 2 things. One, it has extended his cardio, probably extended his career, got him on this nice 5-0 win streak here, but it has also tamed him. He seemed to have matured. He still has some wild in him, but it's not crazy. What he doesn't do well, though, is make weight, which is why he moved from 170 to 185 pounds. He's got power in his hands. We know he can go the distance because he's gone the distance many times. And he's got good takedowns and good grappling as well. All in all, a very complete fighter who does have some cardio. He will slow down. He'll breathe heavy. But we haven't necessarily seen what that looks like at 185 pounds. He's going to be carrying more weight, but he also doesn't have to cut any, so that might extend his cardio. He's taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk. This guy's a very good striker. Lightning fast hands, a ton of pressure, and he is going to be a real test for Pereira at 185 pounds here. He does have power, and we've seen that in his last 3 wins. And while he is dangerous on his feet, he does have some very big grappling holes, and he fades pretty quickly as the fight goes on. He's coming off that finish win over Chidi Njokuani, where he survived an onslaught. He should have been finished. Like, McCall was done. Down and out, done. Somehow survived, came back, turned the tables, and won this fight. And if McCall didn't just show us that he can survive, because he was pretty much down and out, but he did survive. If he didn't just show us that he can survive and that he does have a very good chin, I might have put everything on Pereira. Because it's like, all right, well, this dude just got blasted by a bigger, more fast, flashy striker, which is basically what Michel Pereira has been recently. But he did show us how tough he is. He can weather a storm. He can come back. He can win a fight after being that down. I'm still going Pereira here. I like that we've seen Pereira go the distance many times. It looks like Pereira at 185 pounds has more power than ever. So I do like Pereira here. I've got a small little bet on him. I got him at minus 130. He's now sitting at minus 148. I think the value window might still be there, but it's not going to be there much, much longer. Michel Pereira is going to be my pick. And, well, why don't you go, Jakey boy, and then I'll throw out that little tidbit I saw on the Instagram.
Oh, yeah, there's a
It's
nice
not
little,
physical. Yeah.
tantalizing
Teaser.
now. I'm getting my balls are fucking tingling.
Okay.
Listen, if you looked at both of these guys, and I'm not going to get too far in depth into the male body of this podcast, but if you looked at both of these guys and had to choose which one is like the first round knockout guy and which one is the better decision fighter, obviously you would think Michel Pereira is the first round knockout guy and McCall is the decision guy, but it's completely opposite, and it's kind of mind-blowing in that right, because when you look at McCall, he just doesn't seem that guy like that guy until you see him throw strikes, as you mentioned, and then you're like, oh, now I get it. And you saw the power, the speed against Chidi. You mentioned he was hurt in that fight, and he was really having issues getting to Chidi. He was having issues getting to Chidi because Chidi was using good footwork, but what he used really well is that front push kick. And I'm not saying anything, but I am going to say this. Michel Pereira also has very good footwork, and I think that's what's going to win him this fight, right? He just got side to side to side, and when McCall is marching forward, trying to close that distance, he can pick him apart. But what Michel Pereira also does very, very well and very, very fast is not a front push kick, but he will just throw a front up kick straight down the middle. And if you're getting push kicked and push kicked in your last fight, I think Michel has an opportunity to land that front kick. That's my big prediction of this fight. But even if it turns into a decision fight, I like Michel Pereira. I think he's just going to be too... I mean, just the movement is going to be too much.
Imposing, fast.
Yeah, the movement's going to be too much. I think this obviously should be his weight class. I mean, at 170, I don't know how he ever. I don't know how he ever made 170. He looked like he was comfortable. I was very high on him against Andre Petroski. Obviously, this is a much different fight. He ended up smoking Andre in that fight. He's another one of those guys where when he stops looking for knockouts, that's when they're going to start finding. That's when he will start finding them, rather. And I think McCall eventually walks in one, maybe in the second round. But, I mean, McCall's come, look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 of his last 8 wins are all in the first round. He had a split decision win versus Modestas. So, I mean, he didn't have a ton of wins outside the first round. I think Michel's durable enough, even if he does get hit in the first. But I think the movement's going to be too much, and then Michel's going to take over from there. So, I like Michel in this.
Yeah, I'm obviously on the potato side, my fat ass Pereira side, and spent a little money there.
What's your favorite thing made out of potatoes?
All of it. I might as well be Irish. I fucking love scalloped, probably. Although breakfast potatoes are solid.
Stupid ass scalloped potatoes. You can pick French fries or potato chips. You pick fucking scalloped potatoes.
Oh, yeah. Sliced potatoes covered in cheese, baked. Are you out of your mind?
Jesus.
Yeah, see, that's the Midwest. That's the simpleton Midwest in you.
And here you go. You ready for this? My 2 favorite things are probably breakfast potatoes.
I do, with a ton of shit, though. Not just cubed bullshit like...
Oh, I just like the cube, little ketchup, little salt
Sometimes
and pepper.
they batter them a little bit, and the bottoms get like crunchy
that's no longer
shit.
just potatoes. No, I just want potatoes. The next best thing that I had is when I let...
This was fun.
Potato cereal. Sure, I love hash browns too. I mean, hash browns are fucking
All
fantastic.
right,
this is the last one. When I was a kid, we had fish fries, and with the fresh fish, we clean the fish fry. You just slice off potatoes and fry those. A little salt on them, real thin, crispy. Oh!
Yeah. All right.
You've never had a fish fry.
We do. I've done scrimp boils. Crawdad boil. Anyway. On the gram, you will see that Michal is training himself. He had a child. I don't know how recently. And he basically was like, I don't need to.
Great for just giving birth.
He's like, I don't need to pay 20% anymore. I'm done paying a gym. I'll just train myself. So this is not the fight you want to be in, just training yourself. He is lightning fast. He does have some solid skills. Training yourself is a whole different world. Glover Teixeira can do it. And he has done it basically his entire career.
Didn't you train with Glover?
Glover basically, my point was he didn't really have a coach. He surrounded himself by some people. And that was so long ago and so many pounds ago. But basically, he is a very self-motivated guy. He will push himself. You know how hard it is to like push yourself when you're basically dead in the gym and just one more rep.
I do it every single day.
There you go. And that's why, yeah. Built like that dude from Children of the Corn. Guys, if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round leans, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. And if we're talking DraftKings, $8,700, I think Michel Pereira makes a little bit of sense there because he can go the distance. He can get takedowns. He can get a finish. He can rack up some control time. I would have liked a little bit of a lesser price tag there, but I do think he could potentially score pretty well. We do have a $1.99 super chat from Diaz Auto Detailing. He said, sign up for We Want Picks. Thank you very much, Diaz. That is genuinely appreciated. Comment here where your detailing company is, and then I'll repin your comment so people can see. And if they live near you, they can throw you some business, bud. Take care of our own around these parts. Next up, at UFC 299, we have Pedro Munhoz taking on Kyler Phillips. Pedro Munhoz, 20-8 overall, but only 1-3-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that decision loss to Chito Vera. Taking on Kyler Phillips, 11-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off of that very busy decision win over Hani Barcelos. This is an interesting fight. There's a few fights on this card that has the comment section split. I can see the energy in the comment section. And this is one of those that has people split. Just matter of fact, you're an idiot, this is what happens. No, you're an idiot, this is what happens. This is one of those fights. And it's another one of the fights on this card where we have sort of an aging vet versus a young up-and-comer, a changing of the guard type situation. Pedro Munhoz, a little bit older for sure, 37, I believe. But he's a volume striker. He sets a nonstop pace. He's got incredible leg kicks. He's a very dangerous on the ground with his BJJ, but he almost never looks to get it there. He's not going to shoot any takedowns. He does have a negative striking differential, which I'm always surprised to see when I put these graphics together because he always seems like he's in control of the striking. You don't see many fights where he looks like he's getting hit more than he's hitting his opponent, but he literally is, which is why he's got that negative striking differential. He is landing a very high 5.45 significant strikes per minute, and he is coming off of that very close loss to Chito Vera at 292. The scorecards didn't make it look close, but I assure you, while you're watching that fight live, it felt like a very close fight.
You know what? Lucky Tim in the Discord, I name drop him all the time now, but he made a good reference or analogy. He said that fight was 30-27 on a few scorecards, but it really was like 30-29 and a half. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was, some because, but it was, I agree.
Well, because I don't remember if I had a bet or what, but I was watching that fight and I was sweating it. Like, I was like, oh boy, because I don't remember why I needed Chito to win, but it didn't. I was surprised.
More of that, food-driven picks.
I was surprised when, CHEETO. That's who I'm picking. But I was surprised when they announced Chito as the winner. Let's put it that way. Not shocked, but I was like, oh, okay. Like didn't know what was coming.
I watched it the other day and somebody just put in the chat and they're exactly right. I thought Pedro won the first round. And I think live, I thought Pedro won. But I think Cheeto, that jab was fucking nuts in the second
Just in his
third round,
face, yeah.
so.
Well, and it was one of the, and we'll talk about this when we break down Cheeto's fight, but it was one of Cheeto's only fights ever where he landed more strikes than his opponent.
Once
he
once he realized that jab was working, he was like, "Oh, well, this is easy.
Yeah.
I can pump out a jab all day," and that's literally all he did.
Sure. And Pedro's taking on Kyler Phillips, a young guy, a busy guy, diverse striker, well-rounded overall. He can strike, he can grapple. His feet are always moving, which makes him pretty difficult to hit and difficult to take down. Most of the time, Kyler does a pretty good job mixing things up, and he is willing to slug it out and put on a show. But that can be a bit of a problem for him because he'll take some chances, do some crazy things, and maybe end up in some trouble. He does have 3 performance of the night bonuses, including his only UFC loss to Julian Paiva, where if you look at the stats, he honestly might have won that fight, but a very poorly timed takedown. Are you pretending that there's a girl in your apartment?
No, my dog just looked at me. Sorry, I'm just...
Oh, there you go. Well, Jacob trying to get his little Miss Peaches moment in here. Overall...
Miss Peaches. Is it, I gotta pay the tummy tax, Miss Peaches. You know what's funny is I literally will call her Miss Peaches now every once in a while. Yeah, Miss
I think it's just lightning in a bottle. For, if you guys don't know, Barstool Sports, El Prez there, Dave Portnoy, got himself a rescue pit bull, named it Miss Peaches, loves the shit out of it, talks to it in a baby voice, and it's like the biggest thing on the internet right now.
It's my entire TikTok feed at this point. I watch them all. I love them all.
But I think it's so huge because he's not somebody that you would expect that from. Sure. So I think that's why, because there's plenty of people that love on their dogs that nobody cares
his
about.
His persona was like, and a lot of people thought, like, this guy's just a fucking asshole. And,
and
then you see how he interacts with the dog, and everyone says, like, you know, dogs, you know, that's how you can tell a lot about a person. So how they treat dogs and how dogs interact with them and stuff. And that dog loves him, and he fucking loves that dog.
Yeah. So anyway, Kyler Phillips, busy guy, performance of the night, many times over. Very fun, very exciting, and he can weaponize his cardio. He does slow down. He does breathe heavy, but he doesn't actually stop doing stuff. He doesn't take a break. He just keeps doing things a little bit slower. He's coming off that win over Hani Barcelos where he knocked him down early and then just outworked him the rest of the fight. This is an interesting breakdown because Pedro Munhoz is the better fighter here. He's the better fighter in this matchup. He's a very good striker, very good grappler. He has, without question, fought the higher level of competition. It's not even close. But Kyler showed us in his last fight that his pace can be a problem for some people. He'll shoot takedowns. He'll stay in your face. He'll never let off the gas. He'll stay on your legs. He beat Song Yadong, and people go, oh, that was a robbery. He beat Song Yadong. That win looks better every single day. I am not ready to give up on Pedro, though. Even in these losses, 1-3-1. Well, that one fight, that no contest, he literally beat Sean O'Malley in the first round. That's an objective fact. The judges said this guy won that first round. And he doesn't look terrible in these losses. He didn't look bad in that Cheeto fight. So I do think Pedro Munhoz has some left. He is a little older. I think he has some left. I am, however, going to pick Kyler Phillips because I thought he did a great job weaponizing his cardio in that fight with Hani Barcelos, and I think he can do the same here. He can just stay in Pedro's face and just stay busy. But my confidence level, if you're a premium member and you see the confidence level, it says very low. Like, this is a 51-49 if I'm assigning percentages here. I think the cardio is going to be the difference in the pace. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, you see the cardio as a weapon for Kyler, and I have no idea how or why you see that because this dude fucking he fucking does. He doesn't stop, but he literally does not. He's not the same person in the first round compared to the second round, and especially the third round. This guy has won very, very few third rounds, and there is a reason for that. And the biggest question this week is, how did he beat Song Yadong? Because we know who Song Yadong is at this point, and it was with timely takedowns because what Kyler does, and I love Kyler, by the way. Kyler, I was talking about Kyler years ago when nobody knew who Kyler was.
I think he was your lock of the week for Julian Paiva.
He lost that fight, Angelo.
I know. Well,
I think he was a lock of the week for a different fight because I'm pretty sure he won the fight that he was lock of the week. But before we started tracking it, he was a former lock of the week. I love this guy. I have no doubt he's going to come out in the first round and look fantastic, right? He's going to have the spinning stuff, the flashy stuff, maybe get a takedown on Pedro. Pedro's a hard guy to take down, and you definitely have to be careful taking him down. So I think that Kyler has a good opportunity to win the first round of this fight. I think that Pedro, being as tough and as durable as he is, he's going to be be around, and we've seen Kyler lose third rounds, and Pedro won't slow down. So I believe that Pedro is going to win the third round of this fight. So it comes down to the second round of the fight. And if you watch Kyler in these second rounds, he does start slowing down. And Pedro is a fucking veteran. And he stays in your face, and he stays in your face, and he will pressure you, and he will walk you down. And what I mentioned earlier was Kyler and that Song Yadong fight, as he started slowing down the striking, boom, he was able to get those timely takedowns. In this fight, if Kyler is tired and he wants to default to the wrestling because he gets tired, because he tries to take time off in the fight when he is tired by using offensive wrestling. If he tries that versus Pedro Munhoz, he is either going to get fucking guillotined or he is going to get those shots stuffed and he is going to get beat up on the feet, and Pedro is going to win this second round and possibly even find a finish in the second round. I think all the scoring in the world comes down to what happens in that second round. Kyler's probably going to win the first. Pedro is probably going to win the third. What's going to happen in the second round? I know what's going to happen. The striking is going to be even. Kyler's going to try one of those fucking takedowns. He's going to come at it desperate, and we're going to see that Pedro guillotine reemerge that he used to catch people with all the time, and Pedro's going to win this fight second round submission. Vote for Pedro.
Nice. Well done. Yeah, there's not gonna be any Pedro slander here. I think Pedro Munhoz is fantastic. I love that guy. He's a little older. And
Kyler was 280 minus 280 for Spike.
Yeah, all right. So I was wrong against Paev.
Yeah, you just try to go out of your way to trash me for no reason. But.
So the -3-1, the 3-1 favorite got smoked by Julian Paeva. Congratulations. Oh, actually, I'm picking Kyler. No, I do think his. We have different. I did that on purpose, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure you did. Oh, I'm sure
anyway,
you did.
I do think we have very different assessments of his cardio, because you're making it sound like the dude falls off a cliff, and you're trying to make it sound like he's Shamil Ghaziv. He's not.
Dude,
he will continue moving forward. He gets sloppy, but he continues doing stuff.
He slows the fuck down. He's gonna be backing up, and Pedro's gonna be in his face. Boom, desperate shot. Yoink! There's a fucking neck.
I hope so. I hope so. I want Pedro to win this fight. I hope so. And honestly, can we? Kyler Phillips. I mentioned this in my quick pick. It looks like an AI. The analogy I made was,
I'd fuck the shit out of Kyler Phillips.
The analogy I made was when
the analogy. I threw you real off there.
When they take the quarterbacks and then they turn them into women, and they, ooh, look how attractive Jimmy Garoppolo is, a Jenny Garoppolo. That looks like Kyler Phillips, but in reverse. Somebody said it's Maycee Barber. They took Maycee Barber and they said, make her a man, and then this is what it spit out. It's like very good looking.
He's very good looking. I know that.
The beard does look fake.
Yeah, I do love Kyler.
Well, either way, this should be a very interesting fight, to say the least. $7,100 in DraftKings for Pedro Munhoz seems like a good deal. The only problem is I don't have to watch the DraftKings video on Friday. I'm going to have to dig in to his stats a little bit. He's not going to shoot takedowns. It's going to be striking only. I just have to see what he's scoring. What did he score against Cheeto? I got to see what that is and then add 30 points.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pedro comes in and if I was game planning for Pedro, I would shoot takedowns on Kyler. I would make this dude work. You know you're going to be good for 3 rounds. Make this dude work early. Don't let him be in space with all his flashy stuff while you're walking down and maybe get caught with something. I mean, Pedro his chin is fucking insane. I mean, he just eats anything and everything. But I would press him, put him against the fence. Let's hold him there. Let's wear him down early and take all that explosion out. And then he just kind of becomes another dude, unfortunately.
I mean, this is a good fight. This is a main card fight on a fight night. This is a good fight. This really is a solid pay-per-view. Somebody just said it looks like Kyler Phillips looks like you typed in "make a surfer Jesus" into an AI, and there you go, Kyler Phillips.
I don't know. If you do more snowboarding.
If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the tools, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. That will get you 4 events. You sign up right now, you get 4 events for that money. Next up, at UFC 299, we have Mateusz Gamrot taking on former lightweight champion of the world, Rafael dos Anjos. Mateusz Gamrot, 23-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, with the only loss being a very close decision to Beneil Dariush. He's taking on Rafael dos Anjos, RDA. 32-15 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that main event loss to Vicente Luque. This is an interesting fight. I'm always very high on Mateusz Gamrot. I think I have picked him to win in every single fight he's been in, including the Beneil one, which I think he won that fight, but fine, he didn't. Very high on Mateusz, and that's because of the wrestling. I tend to favor wrestlers, and this guy is a non-stop wrestler. He will get hit. He will get dropped. He has 8 fights in the UFC. He has literally been knocked down in 4 of them. But he bounces right back up like a Super Bowl. Just boom, like he's up, ready to go. It's like flash, fall to a knee, stand back up. So they do record him as knockdowns. They look like knockdowns, but it's not like, oh my God. Like it's amazing how fast he is just back into that fight. Shooting takedowns, relentlessly setting a pace. His striking is actually not bad. It's technical striking. It is there. He can make stuff happen with that striking, but the wrestling is what separates him from everybody else. He is coming off that win over Rafael Fiziev, where he beat that dude's ass and stopped him in the second round. It wasn't even close. And that is before you guys go bananas. There was a freak injury, and he actually lost the first round on all 3 judges' scorecards, and the freak injury for Fiziev happened in the second round. Damn. This is a different matchup. This is a very different matchup. Rafael dos Anjos is not Rafael Fiziev, but Rafael dos Anjos is the former champion of this weight class. Incredibly well-rounded. He is a grappler at heart, but he has obviously over time, over 47 fights, has developed other skills.
Is that in your script or you did that quick math?
I did that quick math. I did the quick math on the Quick Picks video, and I did it again here. I did. Ever since I stopped drinking, I really, like, it is just, it's a beautiful mind.
What is 568 times 2.5764 divided by 3?
568 times 2.7 divided by 3. 296.
Holy shit, that's fucking right.
I know.
Holy shit.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
It's a whole, man.
Holy shit.
I'm thinking on a different level now. It's crazy. But Rafael dos Anjos, tried and true vet. I don't think he gets the appreciation that he deserves, honestly. Former champion of this weight class. The guy missed out on a life-changing payday. He was supposed to fight Conor McGregor for the belt. He was the champ. Conor was supposed to fight him, I guess, for the belt. He got injured, and that's how Nate Diaz stepped in. And that's how we got that rivalry, and RDA just never was able.
Effect. It's crazy how chain of reactions can affect.
Dude, that one injury, he should have just kept that injury, gone out there injured, and just gotten those pay-per-view points and retired. He should have TJ Dillashaw. He should have TJ Dillashaw.
He would have beat him, too, and that would have been the end of Conor in a way.
It never would have happened. Yeah, he never would have been who he is. But the reality is, Rafael dos Anjos is a very good fighter with a ton of experience. His striking has evolved over the years. Cordero has worked with him on his striking and done a phenomenal job. His takedowns are good. He's aggressive. All of those things. But he's old in fight years. We just watched Vicente Luque, who is not a grappler, take RDA down 8 times. And MMA math is not always tried and true, but it is here. If Vicente Luque is taking down RDA 8 times, that was a 5-round fight, but if he's taking him down 8 times, Gamrot's going to take him down as many times as he wants as well. I got to go Gamrot here. The wrestling is literally the only reason, and it's the only reason that matters. Mateusz Gamrot is going to be the pick. I think these odds are perfectly fine. He's going to do whatever he wants to do when it comes to the grappling. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I mean, the breakdown is Gamrot is way too relentless, right? And I was very high on Fiziev against Gamrot because Fiziev has really, really good takedown defense, but his striking was going to be levels and levels above Gamrot. And you kind of saw that start to progress in the first round as that fight was going on. I was feeling good about it. I think Fiziev was one of my bigger bets on that card. I liked the value there. And then the fortunate thing happens with the knee, and hopefully he gets back soon because he's one of my favorite fighters. But before that, I did love Gamrot. I'm a big Gamrot guy because he just is so relentless. And he can be a little bit chinny, but he's one of those chins that is like almost like a Colby chin. That's kind of bad to say now, but it literally is, he drops and then boom, he's right back on it. He's right back on a single. And what I love about him too is he is not a hang on you type wrestler. You won't see him do the Mikhaev that we saw last week, where he's just kind of on a knee and he's just sitting there and he's not really doing anything. He's not going to just hold somebody against the fence and just hold onto a double leg and catch his breath. This dude is nonstop, and this dude is chain wrestling to the fucking max through scrambles, grabbing your legs, gator rolling you onto a single, onto a double, doing everything he can to get you to the ground. So with some people, I might worry about a veteran, RDA, decent takedown defense, even though he didn't show it in his last fight. If Gamrot was just holding, we've seen those type of fighters lose decisions before. But Gamrot isn't really a holding type wrestler. He's going to keep moving. He's going to keep the action going. And that's why I feel pretty safe with him against RDA. Obviously, anybody's going to be live, especially a former champ like RDA. But I don't think he's going to catch Gamrot. He's just going to be, Gamrot's just going to be fucking relentless. So I agree.
Yeah, and a couple comments here stood out. Somebody said you shouldn't be using welterweight fights in your analysis because he's talking about the Dos Anjos versus Luque fight. Rafael Dos Anjos is 39 years old. You think coming down to lightweight is a good move at 39? He's going to be even slower, even more drawn out. He's going to look worse at lightweight than he did at welterweight, where he was just bullied by Luque. So I don't agree with that point. The other comment that stuck out is this false narrative. Don't forget, Gamrot got whooped by Dariush. I encourage you to watch that fight again. I think Gamrot won that fight. It was non-stop forward pressure. Non-stop forward pressure. The only reason that Dariush got the nod is because his takedown defense against the cage is ridiculous. You saw some of the most insane scrambles in that fight. And even if you think Dariush won, which is a fair thing, it's by no means do I think it was a robbery, but to say whooped, nobody got whooped in that fight. That was wild grappling exchange after wild grappling exchange, and they honestly both looked very good in that fight.
Yeah, it was just that
I
one
just
punch.
disagree with that.
It was just all the takedown defense, and then he dropped, obviously, Gamrot with that one punch, and that kind of won him that.
And then Gamrot went as he always does.
Yeah, and that said more about Gamrot than anything, that he was up against somebody with incredible takedown defense and scrambles, and he just fucking doesn't give a fuck. He is literally the Marab of this division, honestly.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal analogy. And Marab got dropped by Henry Cejudo and then went on to dominate the fight. Yeah, that's exactly. There you go, Jakey boy.
I did it.
See, everybody is like, he's a clown, he's a fool.
Poland and Georgia. I think they're right next to each other.
There you go.
Let's see.
There you go. But here you are with the actual analysis. All the people saying Jacob's a clown and spamming with the clown emojis. That's not right.
I don't see that stuff.
You have those muted on yours. But anyway.
Fuck is Georgia? Oh,
$9,400 in DraftKings is sort of a steeper price point, especially when we have two fights on this card that are 5 rounds, right? Isn't the co-main 5 rounds? Yes. We have 2 fights on this card that are 5 rounds. $9,400 seems like a lot to spend, but go look at Gamrot's numbers in DraftKings. Takedown control. Takedown, control.
You can't say somebody said fraud checking coming. Gamrot's already fought good people. So he would just lose. It's not a fraud check.
Yeah, there's no fraud check. Yeah, there's no fraud check on your 9th fight in the UFC. He's ranked in the world. Like, he's not a flash in the pan kind of guy. He's been here.
Yeah, if he loses, he just lost. RDA is not a bum. So
yeah. If you do want to unlock the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, I believe there is some action on Gamrot. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You'll get everything you could ever imagine and then more. We also have a Discord. The Discord's 100% free. But if you are a premium member and you link your account, you can get alerts to your phone when we do place bets.
And I'm in there every single day, all day, every day. Yep. That's what I do.
There you go. Well over 500 people watching us live. Thank you all very much.
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. Shake your titties if you got them. Grab them if you got them. Rub them if you got them. Oil if you got them.
Yes, there are new people. Anytime we do, I just said there's 500 people watching live, astronomical number, and then you do that.
I know. If you're new, I'm sorry.
Like it's a Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
I know.
And you're like,
sometimes I forget it's not my live streams, Angelo. I just get excited.
It's crazy.
Next
up at UFC 299, we have Jacob's fight of the night. We have Katlyn Chookagian. I had said on my Quick Picks video she's gotten married, so her last name changed. She might have gotten divorced. I actually don't know. Her last name is no longer Chookagian. It's
She's trying to hide from us.
Seminara. And she's
Witness
taking
protection.
on Maycee Barber. This could actually be an interesting fight. We got Katlyn Chookagian, 18-5 overall, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming back after a year and a half away. She's taking on Maycee Barber. Maycee Barber, 13-2, 5-0 in her last 5. She's coming off that finish win over Amanda Ribas. Katlyn Chookagian is a very tough 1s and 2s fighter, meaning she sticks to the basics. She has mastered the basics. It's a lot of jabs, a lot of rights, a lot of tennis noises like Nope. They're not like that. Okay. A lot of forward pressure, a lot of managing the distance, and a lot of basic striking. And that's not an insult. That is a compliment. She doesn't rely on big looping power. She doesn't rely on spinning nonsense. She is very, very big for this weight class and has very solid basics, and that has been enough to beat most of this division. She is coming off of the 29-28 loss to contender Manon Fiorot, where she had plenty of volume, but she just did not land as much as she would have hoped, and the more meaningful strikes seemed to come from the other side. She's taking on Maycee Barber. Maycee Barber's a very good striker, very good boxing, improved wrestling as well. She is not a grappler like in style or at her heart, but she does have some very well-timed takedowns when she needs them, and she has taken down some of the better people in the division, like Montana De La Rosa, Jessica Ai, Miranda Maverick, and Andrea Lee in those fights. Takedown defense is not very high, and she has been taken down 11 times, including twice in her last fight, but she is coming off of that finish win over Amanda Ribas, which crushed Jacob's dreams and his $1,000 parlay. This is going to be an interesting fight.
Yeah, it was a $2,000 parlay.
I thought it was only $1,000.
Oh, it was too.
Ouch. Well, this is going to be an interesting fight, and I don't know what the judges are going to do here because both of these women have gotten very favorable decisions that they did not earn in the past. Maycee Barber did not beat Miranda Maverick. Katlyn Chookagian did not beat Vivian Araujo, but they were gifted those decisions. And that's because the judges seem to like Maycee's activity. The judges seem to confuse the tennis noises coming out of Katlyn's mouth with landed strikes. And we get an interesting fight and an interesting decision. I do think this will be a razor-thin fight. These odds are bizarre to me. While Maycee Barber is very talented and very well-rounded, a 2-1 favorite over a giant Katlyn Chookagian. I'm not saying giant in like a derogatory way. For this weight class, she is huge, and she uses that size to her advantage. I think Katlyn Chookagian is a very live dog. I was going to go bet plus 3.5, but the bookies are onto it. So it was a juiced plus 3.5 bet. But I am going to lean Maycee Barber because I think the takedown threat can be very real. Those are so well timed. She just gets you striking with her, boom, shoots a takedown. But Katlyn at 35 years old can definitely bait the younger 25-year-old Maycee into fighting her game. Katlyn just has this uncanny ability to get her opponents to fight her distance striking game. Maycee's the pick, but these odds are way too far gone to bet that side. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah. Let me just start by saying that personally, I've got no issues with either one of these females, right? I'm sure Katlyn's a nice person personally. Maycee, obviously, you got that cameo for my birthday where she was poking fun about allegedly beating Amanda. Honestly, I thought something funny.
Yeah. I think what was funny is when we did that cameo and you and the collective community that watch our videos were like, whoa, is Maycee hot? Everybody at the same time was like, oh, wait a minute.
I think everyone thinks she's hot. She's a pretty girl.
Well, that video really put her over the edge for a lot.
It was a great video, but I mean, it was the alleged win. I thought there was a little bit of an early stoppage there. Amanda looked like she was going to be okay, but it goes down in the books as a TKO of Amanda Ribas. And then you look at Katlyn on the other side. Oh, I can't. I hate her. I cannot stand Katlyn. She has killed 2 of my lock of the weeks in the most bullshit decisions I've ever seen in my life. Vivi came in. If you watched that second round, was almost finishing Katlyn for like 3 minutes of that second round. Almost finished her to a point. She got so tired that in the last minute, she was kind of like walking away, but Katlyn was not doing any damage because Katlyn's never done any damage in her life. Just following Vivi around, and somehow they scored that second round for Vivi. And then you have Amanda Ribas coming in and just tossing this girl Katlyn around the octagon, round after round. And some reason, some bullshit cockamamie decision, they have Katlyn Chookagian beating Amanda Ribas, which is like the most asinine thing I've ever seen in my life. So I've got a bone to pick with Katlyn Chookagian. And in this fight, if you look at from the decision fighter to what Maycee did come out in that fight versus Amanda Ribas, she seemed to turn a corner in her aggression. As you mentioned, typically she is also a rangy, well, not even, she's just punching air, but she came in, and I think it had to do with a little bit more of like Amanda's pressure too, but she came in and she wanted to prove a point. She wanted to get a finish, and in this fight, of 2 girls that are pretty much decision fighters, I think Maycee's going to be the one moving forward. I think she's going to be the aggressor. I think she's got a little bit more of a nasty streak in her than Katlyn. And honestly, as much as I hate both of these females as fighters, and as much as I would love to see them both lose, I hope Maycee takes this fucking girl's head off. At this point, Maycee, you know what? You took the power of Amanda Ribas. You finished her. Let's take that and blow through this girl, Katlyn. I'm done with her forever and always. I'm picking Maycee. And I think it's better value than Moroz.
100%. That statement I agree with. Because she's a better fighter than Moroz is.
Right.
And Katlyn's younger than Wood is. So yeah, I agree with that statement for sure. What is funny is in the live chat right now, there are a lot of people saying Katlyn's too old. Maycee's getting better. Katlyn's getting too old. And a lot of these names I recognize from 2 breakdowns ago talking about Pedro Munhoz is going to win that fight. It's the exact same dynamic. I don't understand how in this fight, Katlyn's too old, but Pedro Munhoz at 37 isn't when they're both fighting 20-something-year-olds. Very interesting.
And I will say, too, I mentioned that just because I brought up Amanda. There was a picture that leaked today, and I will be at the Apex in a couple weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Amanda does know that I am coming to the fight now. I was messaging her last night because she replied to my story because a year ago I met her in Vegas. This surfaced, and I sent it to you, and I just want to make everyone aware. I just want to, that is Rose Namajunas today. Her fight is in 2.5 weeks, and she's definitely not at 115 anymore. And Amanda Ribas is plus 140 right now. So, just
I mean that's not a very favorable picture. I hear you, but we got $7,400 Katlyn Chookagian, $8,800 Maycee Barber. Man, Maycee's only worth this price if she's going to get takedowns or a finish. I don't see a finish here. Katlyn is tough, and she is much larger. I mean, you saw the stats on this previous slide, 5'9" to 5'5", 68 inches to 65 inches. Like, there's a big size discrepancy there, and Maycee's going to have to work in the distance, work in the gap there. If there's takedowns and control, then Maycee could be worth that money, but there's a lot of – I'd rather spend a couple more dollars and get a Gamrot and then save the rest of that money on Pedro Munhoz at $7,100 or something to that effect. So I'm going to leave both of these women out of a DraftKings lineup. But if you do want to see what our cash core plays will be, want to see the ownership projections, you want to see all the bets, the picks, the safety parlay, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Next up, at UFC 2... Oh, wait, hold on. We got a $10 super chat from Angel. He said, "Hey, Jacob, I believe the new guys on the stream should know about you and Amanda Ribas." Okay.
It is important, too, that this was a year ago yesterday. So this happened a year ago yesterday. I put it on my story. Amanda messaged me. She's like, tag me. So I tagged her in the Instagram story, and we're ready for that fight, man. I'm excited. That's going to be a fun experience. If nothing else, but she's going to fucking smoke Rose. People are like, Rose, you're going to be... The only advantage Rose had going into this fight was her speed. And judging by that picture, I don't think she's going to be quite as fast as she used to be at 115. And Hebos, even though, I mean, you want to put on some pounds, Hebos didn't. She tossed around every 125er she's fought. Vivi, Katlyn, she just tossed them all. Maycee, she even threw down Maycee a couple times. She tosses everybody down. She's going to toss her to the ground and maul this poor girl. Fucking retire Rose. And I can't wait. I'm front row at the Apex. Can't wait.
I'm actually excited for you to go. I'm happy for you. Angel, thank you so much.
Thank you, Angel.
For the $10 super chat. Next up at UFC 299, we have the featured prelim of the evening. The main event for the undercard. We got a couple of heavyweights and a potential fraud check situation. We have Curtis Blaydes taking on Jailton Almeida. Curtis Blaydes, 17-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that knockout loss to, what the hell's his name?
Excuse me?
What was his name? The giant Russian who knocked him out.
Pavlovich?
Sergey Pavlovich. He's taking on Jailton Almeida, 20-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding a 15-fight win streak. I'm going to break this down the best I can. This is another one of those fights where the comments, the general tone on the internet, people are split like crazy. The actual general tone on the internet is, and at least this was the other day, because now Curtis Blaydes is a favorite. But you can see he opened as a pretty big dog here. And the other day he was still trailing as a dog a little bit before it flipped. And the general tone on the internet was, hey, everybody, Curtis Blaydes is an underdog. Go bet your life savings on it. Spoiler alert, I do not agree with that point. On one hand, on its surface, you look at Curtis Blaydes, very big guy, very big for heavyweight, and he wrestles really well, and he wrestles like a welterweight. He averages 6 takedowns per fight. I believe he has the record for the most takedowns in heavyweight history. This guy's a non-stop wrestler. But I shouldn't be speaking present tense. I should be speaking past tense. He hasn't even attempted a takedown in almost 3 years. Hasn't even tried to shoot a takedown in 3 years. But his hands do deserve some credit. He's got some power. He's got some speed. He can strike. But he'll hang out a little too long and he'll get clipped, as he has. That fight against Chris Daukaus, well, he doubled his strikes in the first round, knocked him out clean in the second, 0 takedown attempts. And that was the beginning of the end, if you will. That's when he was like, I don't need to take these people down. That's too much work. I can strike with them. And then Sergey Pavlovich just absolutely laid him out. The whole world was like, hey, if Curtis is going to win this fight, he's going to need to wrestle. Didn't even look at the dude's legs, let alone attempt a takedown, and he got knocked out cold. Last little fact here, anybody who has tried to take down Curtis Blaydes has taken down Curtis Blaydes. 33% takedown defense. He has been taken down by some guy, you've never heard of his name, and then Alexander Volkov. Others have not tried to take him down. And this is going to be a different fight because Jailton Almeida is going to try to take him down. This guy's a savage. He, as of so far, or as of yet in the UFC, he has not looked like a human being. People want to disparage him because he didn't put away the giant, dangerous Derek Lewis, and then people want to defend him not putting away Derek Lewis by saying, well, that was his game plan. He said all week, he told his coaches, watch, I'm going to go 5 rounds. I don't know if I believe any of that stuff, but what I do know is, yeah, he didn't finish Derek Lewis, but he took Derek down 6 times with 21 minutes of control, which tells you, A, he'll get the takedowns whenever he wants them, and then B, he can keep you on the ground when he gets you there. Jailton Almeida is a freak. He's big, he's strong, he's not the bigger guy in this matchup, but I don't think it matters because I don't think Curtis Blaydes' defense is nearly as good as his wrestling offense, and we haven't even seen him use that. I think Jailton Almeida comes in here, shoots a takedown within the first 30 seconds, gets it to the ground, and then wins this fight. Curtis Blaydes off his back is going to be just as clueless as Derek Lewis was. Just as clueless as Derek Lewis was. The difference is Derek Lewis has that one punch knock you out at any moment type power. Curtis Blaydes doesn't. Obviously, he's knocked some people out, but not anyone wherever he wants. I'm on the Jailton Almeida side, and the only reason I have not bet it yet is I want to see how big of a dog he can get because, man, there's a lot of people that love Blaydes here. It's just not me. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've said for a long time that Jailton Almeida is fraudulent. I've never thought that he was that good. He had success He's a 205er, and he came up, had some success at heavyweight, wrestling these people that have no idea how to wrestle, and he thought, oh, this is easy. I think he even had a quote like, oh, I'll just stay at heavyweight and just wrestle these guys until I can't do it anymore. And he's had success all the way up to this point, and he's never really evolved the game, right? It's a little bit of striking, but everything is just a nice dive into the legs, and he's powerful enough, and he's strong enough, he has athletic enough to get these guys off the feet that don't know what they're doing in the wrestling, in the grappling. Curtis Blaydes, I know that he has been taken down before versus other heavyweights, but these are big dudes that are taking this dude down. Curtis Blaydes on fight night is probably going to have a fucking 40-pound weight advantage. And there's a reason why weight classes exist, because when people are equal in weight, it's typically the heavier person that's going to have the advantage in those exchanges. Me and Angelo are very even when it comes to wrestling, and grappling, but the guy outweighed me by 150 pounds. That's why I was losing wrestling and grappling exchanges. I believe that if Curtis Blaydes stick to this game plan that he is talking about, which is sprawl, brawl, get out of there, just defend the takedowns and try to take this dude's head off, he can have success. But Curtis Blaydes is a tough dude to trust. People want to talk about the chin. I'm not worried about the chin against Jailton Almeida unless he lands the front kick. He's been knocked out by the three hardest hitters in maybe UFC history. So he has been knocked out, but those are some hard-hitting motherfuckers, and Jailton just doesn't have that type of power or striking in his hands. And I actually like the fact, you mentioned that Derek Lewis had the power to knock out Jailton and didn't do it. I actually like the fact that Curtis Blaydes is more of a technical boxer because he can kind of keep him at range and pump that jab out and keep something out in front of Jailton to deter him from taking a good shot. And when he takes a shot, it should be a worse shot that Curtis Blaydes should be able to defend. But, at some point, I still think Curtis Blaydes might shoot a takedown for whatever reason. And if he does go to the ground at all, Jailton is strong and big enough that he probably can sweep this guy. If Curtis Blaydes' game plan was to wrestle and try to control this guy for 15 minutes, I probably wouldn't like it as much. I like that he's talking about, I'm not going to engage in the grappling. Let me just try to box this guy. But he is a hard guy to trust. I loved the value when it was like plus 180 before the first time they were supposed to fight, or like the opening odds on this of plus 160. But even money, Blaydes as a favorite, no thank you. I actually have money on the Jailton side a little bit. But Curtis Blaydes is going to be my pick just because I think Jailton's a little bit fraudulent. But
yeah, I obviously am on the other side there. I just think it's people are still, even in this live chat. First of all, there's 530 of you. Thank you all very much for being here. It is late on a Tuesday, and we genuinely appreciate you. Yeah, and subscribe. But I am still seeing in the live chat, well, but Blaydes is a wrestler. Blaydes is a wrestler. He hasn't wrestled in 3 years. He hasn't shot a single takedown in 3 years, not one. And people who have tried to take him down can. It is a very different thing defending a takedown and getting one. You, Jacob, want to be like, oh, Jailton was taken down light heavyweights, went up to heavyweight, nobody can wrestle, so he's going to do that there. That's the same. You could say the exact same thing about Curtis. Yeah, he's had success wrestling because nobody at heavyweight wrestles. So yeah, he took him down very easily. And then he starts fighting Curtis the better guys in the division.
Yeah, Curtis isn't the one that's trying to wrestle here. Jailton is.
But I'm talking about the people commenting, but Curtis is a wrestler. But Curtis is a wrestler. He doesn't wrestle anymore. And I don't think he's going to be able to defend these I don't think he's going to be able to defend.
If Jailton doesn't get the fucking takedowns, it's going to look like it's going to look like that Shamil fight very, very fast. It's going to be that Curtis Blaydes jab, boom, boom.
I agree.
Curtis is a way better striker.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I just think Jailton is going to get the takedown. Like, it's very different defending a takedown. Curtis Blaydes has proven that he can't defend takedowns.
He doesn't set him up. Other people can set stuff up because they're worried about the striking. He's getting taken down by people that can also strike. Jailton
throw me a bet openly bet here. You get minus 104. I get plus 104.
I'm not betting on Curtis Blaydes. Oh, yeah, you want to talk about you being a fucking pussy? I tried to put $350 on Biggie Boy last week, and you sat here on your fucking
I already
hands.
had 100 on him.
You talked all this shit. Biggie Boy sucks. You go, blah, blah, blah. I put it in the fuck. I made the bet and sent it to you. $350 on Biggie Boy. That would have paid me $700 fucking dollars, and you sat on your fucking hands, fat boy.
What I do remember is I took $500 of your dollars just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, and then the next fight, I'm actually on the winning streak because I had Royval. I won $350 on Royval. So,
what's 500 minus 350?
I won the last bet we placed, and then you pussed out last week.
I'm trying to remember what 500 minus 350 is. Yeah. I'll figure it out. $8,000 in DraftKings, $8,200 in DraftKings. I agree with Jacob. that if Jalton doesn't get the takedowns, he's screwed. He's screwed. And I agree, he will look exactly like Shamil Gaziev. If he doesn't get the take, he'll be exhausted, picking up a leg and looking like a complete bum. I agree with every single one of those things. But he did not get exhausted against Derek Lewis. 21 minutes of control time, 25-minute fight. Did not get tired.
He was tired. Derek was just a little bit more tired. I mean, Derek Lewis in those, I mean, he had hit some fucking sweeps that he shouldn't. It was just, because Jalton was tired. It was just Derek Lewis a little bit more tired.
Either way, I am on the Jalton side, but if you want to go Curtis Blaydes and you believe in that, by all means, go for it. I think $8,200 in DraftKings makes sense if you're on the Blaydes side, and $8,000 makes sense if you're on the Almeida side. Whoever wins should score really well. Jalton should get the takedowns and the control, potentially a finish. Curtis Blaydes could stuff a few takedowns and blast Jalton Almeida. We have not seen him take shots yet. We just haven't. Because he has been so dominant.
No, he got hit by... who was the Russian that he fought? It wasn't Olenek.
2 fights ago.
But because they were expecting, because everyone knew he threw a front kick right into a blast double, and that front kick came, and he just sat on the right hand, and Jalton did eat it, but you don't want to keep doing that.
No, 100%. So if you do want to unlock the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, sounds like Jakey Boy has a bet on this fight, you can do that at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. That's going to get you 4 events worth of information for that $10. I don't know what you're waiting for. And we do have a $10 super chat from the Bookie Bully. Said the Salamander ducking bet openly now. Wow, times have changed. It is embarrassing. Sugar 50 to 45 Cheeto, by the way. So Bookie Bully, thank you for the 10 spot, and he is squarely on the Sean O'Malley fight.
Fuck you, Bookie Bully. Piece of shit.
Part of that premium membership will get you access to the Safety Parlay. The Safety Parlay continues to be a resounding success. Of course, we're going to miss some here and there, but it does hit at a 71% event win rate. In pay-per-views specifically, I've hit the last 5. 5 pay-per-views in a row with over 5 units of net profit, which means you more than doubled your money just on the Safety Parlay in the last 5 pay-per-view events. I have hit 9 of the last 11 parlays, and it hits at a 29% lifetime ROI. You can unlock that. Premium membership, WeWantPicks.com. And if you want 50, we'll send you 50. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bet, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us, and then we are going to slice off some of that money and pay you. Ready for the main card, big boy? We got 5 spectacular fights kicking this event off. Opening up the UFC 299 main card, we have our first on the main card changing of the guard matchup. Former champion Petr Yan taking on young surging up-and-comer Song Yadong in what should be a striker's delight. Both of these guys are very good strikers, and both of them can grapple, and this should be very fun to watch. Petr Yan, 16-5 overall. His last 5, 1-4, unfortunately. But he is coming off that grapple-heavy loss to Merab Dvalishvili. He's taking on Song Yadong. 21-7 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back wins. Petr Yan, as I mentioned, former champion of the world. He's a nightmare for a ton of people because his striking is so good. His striking is so dangerous. And then his wrestling is underrated, both offensively and defensively. He plots forward. He's got a Muay Thai style guard, and he will blast away with power and accuracy. He does average about 2 takedowns per fight, a solid 85% takedown defense. He is coming off of his 3rd loss in a row. Most recently to Merab Dvalishvili, where he was taken down 11 times. That sounds like a shocking statistic. But then if you zoom out a little bit, he defended 38 takedowns. 38 takedowns. Yeah, no, I almost died right there. He defended 38 takedowns, which is just an insane number. And if you look at those losses, he lost to the champ. He lost to the current champ, the previous champ, and maybe the next champ in Merab Dvalishvili. These are all very quality losses. He's taking on Song Yadong. This guy's a young technical striker who moves really well. He's fast, he hits hard, he's athletic. He can be hittable, though, at almost 4 significant strikes absorbed per minute. He throws everything with power, but that does leave him open to be taken down. He's got okay submission defense, but he's very good at creating space and getting back to his feet. He does like to push and be the dictator of the pace. But he did show that even in a fight against a very nasty grappler like Ricky Simón, he will let his hands fly, and he doesn't worry about the takedowns coming back his way because he trusts his takedown defense. He's coming off that 5-round decision win over Chris Gutierrez, where he won the striking exchanges and the grappling exchanges. Thank you, James Allison, for becoming a premium member.
Oh, James!
I just saw, we've actually had, you've all been,
I'm hard as shit.
We've had about 15 to 20 signups since we've gone live, but that one I just happened to see.
I appreciate every single one of you. God damn it. You know, every
well over 3,000 of them.
We're getting closer to, how do I do this? There to Brazil.
All right. Back on track. This is an incredible fight. I'm looking forward to this fight. And you're either going to be reminded why Petr Yan was one of the best in the world, or we're going to have a changing of the guard situation. And on this surface, when I first saw this matchup, my gut was like, yeah, Song Yadong wins, right? He's younger, he's faster, he's going to hit harder at this point in their careers. But then you do a little digging. You do some tape study. And tape study, Jacob, is just so fun.
I'll show you
some fun tape study. Tape study is fun. Anyway,
across here.
While doing this incredibly fun tape study, I saw how much that, what a passionate, look at that.
Keith Peterson's everyone keeps asking me, you want to know the lock of the week, guys? It's fucking Keith Peterson. And then also, this was, one of one here.
Yeah. How fun is this tape study? Look at that. Anyway, we have, let me break this down.
You never have, huh? Is that an honest answer?
I don't know what you were about to ask, but I'm just going to say no.
What am I about to ask? Have you ever fucking 69 like this with someone, Angelo?
No. You do the tape study, you do your research, and you see how much Song gets hit. He does not like when he's backing up. He's a forward pressure guy. Outside of the Ricky fight, he doesn't have any wins over any ranked opponents. Yeah, he beat Cheeto, but that was 4 years ago. People think that was a robbery, and that was before Cheeto is Cheeto. And even with all of those things working against Song, not beating anybody ranked, not being able to back up while striking, I still think Song can win this fight. Low confidence. I'm not going to bet on him here, but I think there is a theme on this card. I think it's a changing of the guard type situation. I think these young fighters are going to show up. Song is not unproven. He just won a main event. He has been in some really tough fights. He looks better and better every single fight. And the only time he looked not great was when Corey Sandhagen finished him in the 5th. But even in that fight, that was a war. And Corey Sandhagen is so long, so awkward, and so tough to deal with. I don't think that's what we're going to have here in a 3-round fight. So Song is the pick, but pretty low confidence because I am very aware of who Petr Yan is. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I got plus 130 on Song Yadong, and that was one of the first bets I placed, and I placed that motherfucker about 2.5 months ago. It was in futures for our premium members, so WeWantPicks.com, $10 a month, and I love that value, man. I love Song Yadong. I just love him as a fighter, and I got nothing against Petr Yan. I don't hate Petr Yan. I did pick Aljo twice versus him, and I was absolutely right in both of those fights. So maybe I do have a little bit of bias against Petr Yan, but I love Song Yadong mostly because, as you mentioned, this dude is he gets better every single fight. He's still a young dude, and I mentioned my quick pick video, and I talk about it all the time. He's at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber. I actually, in my quick pick video, I said Uriah Hall, but it is Uriah Faber, and this dude, you can tell he's a coachable kid. He reacts well, and Uriah always has incredible game plans for this kid. I have no doubt that they're going to have a great game plan for Petr Yan. The thing that does worry me a little bit is Song Yadong has talked this week in interviews that he thinks he's a better boxer than Petr Yan. You're not. You're just not. I love you, Song Yadong. You're just not. And if you just stand in a phone booth with this guy, you're probably going to lose this fight. I want Song Yadong to use all of his athleticism because Petr Yan will stand with that high guard and he will wait. And if you just use your athleticism, your footwork, and you're in and out, and you can split that guard with your power, I believe that Song Yadong is going to win the first round of this fight, do enough damage that's going to translate into the later rounds because this probably is going to be a decision fight. But you mentioned, I like the pressure. I like the power in a decision fight. What scores the best? It's going to be damage. And I think Song Yadong is going to land the more damaging strikes, and it's going to be octagon control and pressure, and I think Song Yadong is going to wrap up both of those as well. So in a decision fight, I'll take the athletic guy with more power who's going to be marching forward compared to the guy who sometimes will just stand like this against the fence or whatever. So I think it's an easy pick for me. I don't want Song Yadong standing in a phone booth because that's where Petr Yan wants to be, counter-striking this and that. I think his takedown defense is going to be good enough. I would not be surprised at all if you saw Song Yadong shooting takedowns of his own and trying to get Petr Yan down on the ground, even just to win rounds. I'd like Song Yadong to move forward, have the more impactful shots. He's going to win the first round, and there's not enough rounds for Petr Yan to catch up at that point, and I don't think the counter-striking is going to be enough for him. So I got my plus 130 ticket in, and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, listen, this should be a great fight. This is where this card really starts to shine. Like, this is a very good fight, and I do love the... And I mentioned that Petr Yan's an aging vet. He's listed at only 31 years old. That can't be, right? He can't be 31. He can't be.
He kind of looks like he's 13.
He's a very small young man. But
doesn't it seem like his voice is like this?
Yeah. And he actually looks like a bagel boss, but just like a little better looking, just short. I
think he's a pretty cool dude. He's pretty laid back.
He probably is.
So I wouldn't, but I apologize for how he's talking to me.
Okay. Anyway, he definitely is not 31 in fight years. Those Moreno wars were wars. Like, those were wars. Those were long, drawn out fights.
Even that Sean fight was a war.
That was a straight up war.
Scared me.
Why? What did my dog do?
Oh my God, it's gone.
Was it Scout? Because the other one's sleeping right here.
It just moved right over there.
Oh.
I saw a tail and I was like, oh shit, here we go again.
You okay, bud? I have to keep them separate, otherwise they go crazy. The second I'm on stream, it's like...
Angelo does dog fighting.
Okay. I love my dog. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. People don't understand sarcasm. Anyway, we're both on the Song Yadong side. $7,900 in DraftKings. Nice little price point there. We got a 7 out of it, which is surprising considering this line is basically even. So I'll take that. I will probably have him in my lineup because I do think he can squeeze in a takedown or two. I do think there'll be some volume there. I mean, I'll look at the stats a little closer. You're making faces, dude. Under $8,000.
I don't know. I think he's just going to be touch.
I think he's going to wrestle. I think Team Alpha Male is going to be like, let's wrestle him. They know that Yan is a very good striker. They're not going to try to out-technique him. They're going to wrestle like crazy.
You don't stay in a phone, but you do what Sean did, right? You just boom, touch from the outside, boom, touch from the outside. You're not standing in the pocket.
But Sean's far more technical than Song Yadong is.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Okay. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 for an entire month worth of membership access to every single thing we do. That'll get you 4 events. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. $2 Super Chatterootsky from MMA King. Jacob, why are you going to Brazil? The women, dude. I'll let him answer, but...
Oh, yeah. Why? I thought it said when. I was about to answer. Why? What the fuck? Have you ever been on... Just go on Instagram and just look at fucking... Just search Brazil and then just scroll down and fucking enjoy. I mean, Jesus Christ. What kind of question is that? Holy shit. You dumb, goofy bitch.
Next up. At UFC 299, another changing of the guard situation. Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns, 22-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that decision loss to Belal Muhammad. He is taking on Jack Della Maddalena, 16-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 14-fight win streak. People are not going to like my take here. They already didn't like it in the Quick Picks video.
They didn't like mine either, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of we'll jump in, but we got Gilbert Burns, who I do respect and appreciate, and I think he's actually like a cool guy. Like in his interviews and stuff, like seems very like funny, laid back, like cool, easygoing dude. He's a grappler.
I'm pretty glad he braids that hair too. That hair is out of fucking control right now.
It is wild.
Some braids.
Yeah, it is wild what he can. Because he always had just like a nice tight buzz cut most of his career, and then as he's getting a little older, he's like, let it go, and then boom,
it's wild.
Beautiful afro. Anyway, Gilbert Burns is a grappler. He's developed some striking over his pretty long career so far. Very impressive power, especially when you consider he's a 155-pounder that moved up to welterweight. He's undersized for this division, but he is fast. He can be powerful, and he's tough to hang. He's tough enough to hang with some of the elite of the division. He is coming off that very one-sided loss to Belal Muhammad, where he said he blew out his shoulder on a takedown attempt, and he got surgery, so there's no reason to believe he was lying. But he got pieced up in that fight, and he shot a takedown, and it got stuffed. He's taking on Jack Della Maddalena. I still don't know what the Della is. There's not an apostrophe. Some people are commenting it's Della, like De La, but it's not. It's Della. It's not De La. It's Della.
Like De La Maddalena. Yeah.
That's what people like. Literally, were breaking it down like with like.
I think he
speech.
just added Machado too. I think it's Jack. I think it's Jack Della Machado Maddalena.
Either way, this dude is a high volume striker, an incredible jab. He likes to plot forward on his toes, and he will just pump that snappy jab out there. If you throw something back, he will just step out, reset.
A good looking dude too.
Start that cycle over. He's got solid power. His nose and his face are facing completely different directions, but he also has some decent jiu-jitsu as well. Dude, that dog just scared the hell out of me too, because he just slammed his face into the door trying to get out.
God. Have another drink, Angelo. Jesus.
Not slammed, but pushed. Anyway, I'm sober. Smart water.
Let's see it. Oh, I do love Smart Water. That's my go-to for sure. It's good water.
We've been hammering. What are the ones that have the Gatorade electrolytes in them?
It's called Gatorade.
Propel. No, Propel. We've been drinking Propels. Anyway,
Gatorade.
Jack Della Maddalena, his takedown defense is very solid at 82%. Before you tell me that Rafael or Basil Hafez was ragdolling him. Basil Hafez was ragdolling him. There was a little bit of ragdolling in there, but Basil is a beast, and that fight was out of nowhere, not the matchup that Maddalena was expecting. Maddalena is currently coming off of that close win over Kevin Holland back in September. Jacob, that sound is incorrect. It was a very close win. This is a changing guard fight, the second in a row, and yet again, I'm going the young guy. I'm going the up-and-comer. Gilbert Burns, don't skewer me for this. Gilbert Burns is the more well-rounded fighter here, right? He's had some success. He dropped Kamaru Usman. He's got good takedowns, BJJ. But if you zoom out, he gets a lot of credit for a good career. Not an amazing career. Never became champ, fought once for the title and got finished. He doesn't have any, if you look at his wins, there's a handful of solid ones in there, but most of them were against fighters when they were already over the hill or no longer in the UFC. Oh, he beat Wonder Boy. He took him down over and over. Everybody takes down Wonder Boy. He beat Masvidal. Masvidal literally retired that night. And I'm not saying this to disparage Gilbert Burns. I'm just trying to put this fight in perspective. And before you say, well, who did Jack Della Maddalena beat? Well, nobody yet. But I think he's about to beat Gilbert Burns. I think Maddalena's striking is just too good here, and I don't think Gilbert Burns' wrestling is good enough. Gilbert Burns is not the freak athlete that Basil Hafez is. So I don't think he's going to be able to close that distance and shoot those like aggressive, fast, athletic takedowns. I think Maddalena is going to piece him up, win the striking exchanges. This likely goes to a decision, but I think Jack Maddalena wins this fight. I have a half unit on him at minus 125. I got some value there, but I did miss the boat a little bit because it yo-yoed. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, the other bet that I placed for our premium members was on Jack Della Maddalena. I got him at plus 115, and I absolutely love that ticket. And let me just say this, because as the founder of Underdog Lock of the Week, and I've become the poster boy of underdogs, everyone comes to me and they want to suggest their favorite underdog. And I usually have a pretty good pulse on what the favorite underdog of the card is for a card because I get it nonstop. It is Gilbert Burns for this card. And let me just say, guys, I fucking wouldn't do that. I fucking wouldn't do that. And I love Gilbert Burns. And I understand this is a tough dude. And he's a fun dude to root for. And everyone talks about, the unbelievable grappler. He's a world champion grappler. Doesn't fucking matter. He's not going to get the fight to the ground. People want to talk about Jack Della Maddalena against Basel. Came in, he got taken down, blah, 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 blah. Jack cut weight twice in 2 weeks. That was a big athletic guy. He was taken down 3 times, 2 of which he pulled his own guillotine to try to get this fight over with a submission because he was kind of bored. So he's like, I'm going to try and submit this guy. Took himself down, and guess what? Defended 17 other fucking takedowns. People are like he was defended 17 fucking takedowns. Should have had that guy out of that fight a number of times, but Basil's a very tough motherfucker. This dude is the best boxer in the division. He came in against Kevin Holland and fucking smoked him. Those scorecards were a fucking disaster. Jack Della Maddalena was having a sparring session there, just walking this dude down, bobbing, weaving, counter-striking. His boxing looked clean as shit. He dominated Kevin Holland from bell to bell. I'm saying it right now. I'm standing, what do the kids say? I'm standing on business.
Standing on business.
10 toes in the ground. I'm standing here right now, and I'm telling you that Jack Della Maddalena is the best 170-pound fighter on fucking planet Earth. I don't give a fuck about Leon or Bilal or even Ian Gary, who I think is the second. I don't give a fuck about that loser Shavkat that everyone keeps talking about that just stands in front of you and lets him light you up. Jack Della Maddalena knocks out Shavkat in the first round, and he's probably going to knock out Gilbert Burns in the second round. Gilbert Burns not going to be able to take him down, and on the feet, he stands 0 chance against Jack Della Maddalena. That jab's going to be too much. Gilbert is a chinny guy, especially even against a sharp jab. He's going to be bobbing and weaving. He's going to hurt Gilbert Burns, and unfortunately, he's going to knock this dude out, Jack Della Maddalena, and I got him at plus 115. He is now minus 160, minus 170, so feel good about it.
Yeah, we're on the same side. We're not as far on the same side. You think a little higher of him than I do. I think he wins this fight because I don't think Gilbert's wrestling is good enough.
If he can't get the takedown, it's not a close fight.
Gilbert Burns is very tough.
He gets chinned by jabs.
I don't think Jack Maddalena is the best 170-pounder in the world also. So
Easy.
I'll separate myself from you there.
Easy.
But I do think he wins this fight. And I think we have a sort of changing in the guard. Gilbert's already working on his next career, as he should be. You cannot fight forever. So he's already working on his next career, and he should be doing that. But it's what happens. You know, this is a very unforgiving sport.
37-year-old coming off shoulder surgery that gets dropped by jabs constantly is who everyone wants to put their money on this week as a dog. I don't fucking get it. And by the way, too, Jack Della Maddalena was going to be my lock of the week. There was no question. But now he's moved all the way like minus 170. So I'm not going to do that. But I was really excited to do that, honestly.
Too bad you didn't film that video months ago, like holding a newspaper. Like, this is today's date. I am filming this video.
Well, I have this date on the ticket. So.
Oh, yeah, you do have the ticket. But either way, we are both on the same side here. I actually disagree a little bit. I don't think he's going to win by finish. Gilbert Burns has proven to us that he can be tough. He got finished. Yeah. He's been finished. Yeah, Usman finished him when Usman was Usman. He's been finished, but I don't think Jack Della Maddalena is going to finish him. I do think this is a decision. I think he just pieces his face up, and Gilbert's nose might look like Jack's nose, but I don't think there's going to be a finish per se. You got to move it a little bit. There's no date on there, but I see the price point.
Well, the date's just the date of the match. I
get
the full ticket.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, you're good.
No, it's cool. Whatever.
No. I don't think anybody thinks you're lying.
Value king. No doubt about that.
There you go. CLVK. There we go. If you want to unlock some of that CLV,
BIGDICK.
If you want to unlock some of the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, just go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10. You will get 4 events for that money. You just spelled that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So Tiff's out of town. She'll be back later tonight. And I picked the girls up from school, and I was like, let me take them. Like, let me just do something nice for them real quick. So I saw on I got an Instagram reel about some stuffed cookie place in Plano. They're like cookies, big thick ass cookies stuffed with shit. So I was like, let me take like a chocolate chip cookie stuffed with chocolate. And there's like a Pop-Tart.
If you go there, can you stuff it yourself?
Anyway, I'm sure you would figure out how to put it in the microwave and then stuff it later.
Jesus Christ, Angelo. Sometimes they have hands-on workshops that you can go on dates and stuff. It's like the wine and the paint. I was trying to think of a good date idea for somebody.
Oh, who are you taking on a date?
Perverted.
Who are you taking on a date?
Whoever the fuck I want. I go outside. I Hey.
I'll give you $1,000 right now. You go on a date Friday. A date.
I don't think I'm gonna have my car back Friday, unfortunately. Get the back taken off. So no
man.
can do.
Oh, I
that.
forgot my wallet. Damn.
No can do on that.
Anyway, Tiffany's like, oh, I'm heading to the airport, whatever. She's like, where are you guys going? I'm like, I'm taking them somewhere. She's like, where? I was like, I'll spell it really fast. So I spelled it as fast as I could. And then it was just so funny to see, like, Avery's in the background, like, trying. Did you just say, what did you? It was funny. But I'm smart. So when you spelled.
Kids are a little slow, huh? December 19th is when I placed that Jack Dettleman a bit. So
there you go.
Sitting there for a little bit.
Next up at UFC 299 in the featured fight of the evening, we have Kevin Holland taking on new UFC signee Michael Venom Page, henceforth known as MVP. Kevin Holland, a tried and true entity at this point in the UFC. And the UFC said, let's take him. We're going to go spend a whole bunch of money on Bellator's, or one of Bellator's best welterweights, one of the best prospects outside of the UFC, and we're going to make him fight Kevin Holland. What I do appreciate is the MVP signing. Michael Venom Page is a very good signing. This guy is exciting to watch. This matchup is interesting, though. It's not that easy of a matchup. We got Kevin Holland, 25-10. 10 losses is quite a few, but he still has 25 wins, and he is a very tough guy. He is 2-3 in his last 5, recently coming off the loss to Jack Della Maddalena. He's taking on UFC newcomer Michael Venom Page, 21-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is making his UFC debut after leaving Bellator. Kevin Holland, at this point, we know how good he is, right? He's an accurate striker, a powerful striker. He's got slightly improved takedown defense over his last couple of fights because earlier in his UFC career, you looked at him wrong and you could take him down. Now, you're going to have to work for it a little bit. If you do take him down, you're not going to have a ton of success because he is a very good grappler, and you are going to have to worry about what's coming up, what's going on, and dealing with all of that. Good striker, good grappler, now working on the wrestling, and a very, very durable guy. He is coming off that close loss to Jack Della Maddalena, where he landed more total strikes, but you can tell he was losing some of those exchanges. He went to his wrestling, and he was 0 for 2 on takedown attempts. Taking on Michael Venom Page. New name to the UFC, but I promise you, not a new name in this space. This guy's a savage striker. He has been very successful in Bellator, certainly a few years past his prime. He is 36 years old, but he is still an insanely dangerous striker with a sport karate background. His striking style is awkward. It's unorthodox. A lot of movements, a lot of power, a lot of speed, but he does wait. He's patient, he's tentative, and then he gets a little crazy. He's very long, and he uses that range really well before leaping in. Takedown defense is solid, but you're not going to see him attempt any takedowns offensively. I've mentioned he's a little older. He's 36. He's definitely past his prime. And that, for a striker, 36 is very old. If he's a wrestler, maybe, but he's pretty old for a striker.
What about Wonder Boy? He looks fine.
He's starting to lose more. But yeah, Wonder Boy does look good. And Michael Venom Page is a very
40-something.
And he looks outstanding physically.
Relax, come on. I mean,
and Michael Venom Page.
We've had this discussion every time before the stream starts. I have this talk with you, and I say, listen, we're getting a little bit off the rails sometimes with the perverted talk, the nonsense. And I beg with you to try and keep this family friendly, to try and keep this PG, and then you just start with this stuff, man.
Yeah, I'll try to dial it in. Wonder Boy, glad you brought him up. Him and Michael Venom Page actually have a very similar striking style, similar range management and control. And before you say Wonder Boy smoked Kevin Holland, Michael Venom Page do the same. Kevin Holland was winning those exchanges against Wonder Boy, and then he broke his hand. And then with a broken hand, had to resort to wrestling and stuff, and then it all went south from there. I do think Michael Page wins this fight. And the reason I think he wins this fight is I think he is going to be the faster, more accurate striker. And that's Kevin's whole thing. And then if Kevin starts getting pieced up a little bit by the faster, more accurate striker, Kevin's going to start to smile, point at things, spin around, and have a little bit too much fun, while Michael Venom Page is going to stay dialed in. I think this is a decision. Kevin's a very, very durable guy, but I do think Michael Page wins this fight. Hopefully, I don't have a skewed vision of him because we've just been watching him beat the shit out of nobodies, and now he's in the biggest promotion in the world fighting a very good fighter. But I think Michael's going to win this fight. I do have money on him at plus 100, the exact odds you have today. I went ahead. I have a half a unit on him. I do think he gets it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this is as simple as Kevin Holland's not fucking letting this dude beat him. I'm telling you right now, Kevin Holland's not letting this fucking dude beat him. He's heard all the noise. He knows who MVP is. He knows that people are like, this is like basically a better version of Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland was basically the MVP of the UFC, right? The long, rangy guy that was kind of wild, the dynamic striker with big power on the end of his punches. And then MVP comes in, everyone's like, thinking that he's just going to come in and beat Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, I think, is going to come in with a mean streak. He's got the durability. I think he's going to be the more pressure fighter. It's going to be a lot of these moments where MVP is throwing all this wild shit. Kevin Holland has really good vision. He's going to see this shit. He's going to miss big, and Kevin Holland's going to look at him like, This is not Bellator, sweetheart. This is not fucking Bellator, sweetheart. Kevin Holland's going to get that mean streak. You're going to see the Kevin Holland of old in this fight. He is going to show up and he is going to show out. And I do believe this is probably a decision fight, but I think Kevin Holland fucking brings it. And if he brings it, I think he's the better overall fighter, and I think he is going to land the more impactful shots. So I like Kevin Holland in this fight, and but I think it's a decision fight.
Yeah, listen, I do have some buyer's remorse on that bet because I saw it. I immediately was like, oh, Michael Page. Yes, he's finally here. UFC knows what they're doing with this matchup. And then I placed the bet, and now I'm regretting it a little bit. I said, hopefully I'm not buying into the hype watching Michael Venom Page beat up nobodies. And then this guy commented, Koa, out of nobodies, Douglas Lima is a nobody? Hey, Koa, remind me what happened when Michael Venom Page fought Douglas Lima the first time. Just remind me what happened, because it is one of the most savage knockouts you will ever see. He got fucking smoked. And then in the rematch, MVP barely squeaked out a split decision. So that's just an incorrect comment. And that is why I have some buyer's remorse. I get a little worried. Looking at who Michael Page actually beat, and like Kevin Holland can beat pretty much all of these people as well. And to say Kevin was never winning, wasn't Kevin winning the first round of the Wonder Boy fight? Was landing well, controlling that, like big shots, and then broke his hand and Wonder Boy started to take over. Maybe I just watch fights a little differently. I could be very wrong, but that's not how I saw it.
Typically, you're pretty drunk.
Well, not recently.
Well,
anyway.
That wasn't recently. I think you were pretty fucking, if I remember right, you were getting pretty handsy that night.
And Cran said Angelo would get at that Ortega line too. And I will say, with the Ortega fight, so I bet Ortega. I thought Ortega was going to win. No, I didn't bet him. I picked him. I thought Ortega was going to win. I started to get a little nervous because of all the crowd noise, meaning the comment section, the live chats, all of that, saying that Ortega was going to lose. That's not really what I got here. That's not what's happening here. A lot of people are on the Kevin Holland side, but not an insane amount. That's why this line isn't moving very much. But Jake and I are split here. Are you going to spend the $8,500 on Kevin Holland in DraftKings?
You want to bet?
I already have a bet on Page.
Yeah.
I just told you I have buyer's remorse.
No. Well, I used that excuse with Curtis Blaydes, and you were like, blah, blah, blah.
Well, you were running your mouth aggressively.
Oh, my titties are sweating.
You were running your mouth aggressively, and I said I have a little bit of buyer's remorse here. And you're going to make comments about my physical appearance. I literally beat you up in a fight. I beat you up. We fought, and I beat you up.
You already made that.
I don't know why you keep running your mouth.
If 150-pound weight advantage,
crazy.
Of course you won.
Okay, so keep running your mouth for it. Give you a fucking noogie on the fight food.
See if you can get down to 205, and we'll see what happens.
See if you can get up to 205.
Okay,
Skinny
I'm 15
bitch.
pounds away.
Scrawny nerd.
Fucking 15 pounds away.
Are you going to spend the $8,500 on Kevin Holland and DraftKings? Didn't answer that question.
You spend $8,500 a week on food, bitch.
Fucking children of the cord nerd. Can you tell me if you're going to spend the money or not? Yeah, well, I won. As soon as you start making noises, the other person wins. Go ahead.
Get one of your daughters in here and tell them to smell you and see what you smell like. I think it's bacon. I'm going to say bacon today.
It's actually not a
huge.
I'm not a huge bacon guy. Can you answer the fucking question?
I already answered it.
Well, I don't remember the answer, but if you want to check out what the answer is, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You'll see all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more. Your money will help get Jacob to Brazil and me more food, apparently. But listen, I'm going to keep flexing because I am working on myself.
That's like the fourth time. Do you look
because
at that
you keep calling me
camera
fat,
and you think that that's impressive?
No, because
that's why you keep doing it.
You keep calling me
There's no
fat.
definition. You're just proving my point.
Okay.
Where's the striation? Where's the veins? Where's the vascularity?
I recommend every single one of you go watch the fight. Jacob and I fought each other. We recorded it.
You
go watch
weigh
the video.
150 pounds more than me.
Tell me if size mattered. Tell me if size mattered when I'm just fucking jabbing his face and he's just staring at my chest like a little.
I'm Demetrius Johnson.
Bitch.
You're Shamil, and you just fucking fatted me. Congratulations.
I'm Shamil. Who needed time in between rounds asking for extra minutes because they couldn't catch their breath? Was it me or was it Baby Red?
Who had COVID that entire week before and week after? Still fought. Still showed up. Still got a takedown.
Did you fight though? Was that a fight? Didn't feel like a fight. Patty cake. Next up, at UFC 299, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have a 5-round co-main event. We have Dustin Poirier taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. Another changing of the guard fight. I saw a meme. Oh, okay, Angelo relaxing comfortably on his couch. Let's shame the dude.
That's all I need. That sums it up there.
Fine. Angelo is not this. I'm not this. I
heard the safety parlay here. Do you think the safety parlay is gonna have?
You're making it sound like I was sitting down here pretending that I have some six pack.
Oh my god! I'm so nervous about the safety parlay.
For a guy that got beat up on camera and it was recorded and posted, the fact that you still run your mouth is astonishing to me, honestly. Anyway, I saw a meme or a post that said, boom. Dustin Poirier.
Fucked up.
That's Bam. You fully extended not landing. I mean, Jesus
No, you're
Christ.
Like this.
No, I'm not. Anyway, can we break down this fight without you trying to somehow scrape back some of your dignity?
That was like
you getting on full display.
Fucking thrown through the wall. Just driving. That leg drive's crazy.
No, Jacob is a savage. He's good at all the things.
Like it's nothing. Like it was fucking nothing.
I saw a meme. I have to start this over. Put that down and let me start this over, please. Next up, at UFC 299, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have a 5-round co-main event between Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis. Our third changing of the guard fight, or fourth changing of the guard fight on the main card. And I did see a meme that had Dustin Poirier, that had Gilbert Burns, that had a lot of these guys on this card listed. Yeah, RDA. And it basically was Petr Yan. And Petr Yan. This is the end of an era. And they're not wrong. Whether some of these guys win or lose, it is the end of an era in that they're like getting a lot older. Dustin Poirier doesn't have much left. He probably has more left than some of the other guys because he's not nearly as old, but he has been in some all-time wars. In fight years, he is old. But we got Dustin Poirier, 29-8 overall, the former interim champion of the world, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off of that bad knockout loss to Justin Gaethje to not win the BMF belt. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, 13-1 in his career. 5-0 in his last 5 with a 100% finish rate. This fight will come down to how long it goes. Because Dustin Poirier, if he is durable, he was not durable in his last fight, but if he is durable, like we have seen in some of his wars, he is incredible. He's an excellent boxer. He has high fight IQ, a BJJ black belt, clean striking, good distance control, a great step-in jab. He is very, very good everywhere. He literally changed MMA with how effective that calf kick was against Conor McGregor. He didn't invent the calf kick, but he perfected it on a very large stage, and it literally changed MMA. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, the former Special Forces or French Special Forces guy, the youngest ever, I believe. came into MMA and just lit this world on fire. This guy's a strong wrestler who comes forward with incredible speed, with incredible just tenacity. He's just busy as shit, bombing punches, shooting takedowns, will chase you around the cage, and seemingly endless energy. We don't necessarily know because his fights don't go very long. He blitzes forward, throws everything at you, picks you up, takes you down, kicks you in the head. The way he just knocked out Matt Frevola, it only took 90 seconds, was very, very impressive. He has only seen the third round one single time. When he gets you to the ground, there are no breaks. Heavy pressure as well. Benoit Saint-Denis is not like normal French fighters. Normal French fighters take their time, stay on the outside, want to be technical and patient.
They're pussies.
Not Benoit. This guy is all chaos. He's basically a lightweight Dricus du Plessis. He only knows how to move forward, how to apply pressure. He only knows how to attack. And that makes him extremely exciting, but it also makes him sloppy. If you can navigate his crazy, you can find some openings. This is a changing of the guard fight. Dustin is 35 years old on his birth certificate, but probably 45 or 50 in fight years. He's been in a ton of wars. That knockout loss to Gaethje might have been the final straw. We've seen plenty of legends lose their chin and lose to lesser skilled fighters, lose to up-and-coming fighters, and I think that's what we're going to get here. Dustin was just knocked out 7 months ago. And the way that Dustin was knocked out was not good. I think you need to worry. Dustin, I believe, is the better fighter in this matchup, but age matters. The last fight matters. And I think Benoit Saint-Denis wins this fight, but low confidence, because if Dustin can avoid the chaos early and turn this into a war, I mean, he's a battle-tested guy that we know can win. So I am going BST, though. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Everything okay over there?
I'm letting this stupid dog is begging for food. Go ahead.
Miss Peaches. Oh, my goodness. I would never talk about. Oh, here we go.
It's not
Ew.
this one.
Did you just tongue down your fucking dog? Is that what I just saw?
No, I turned my head.
Are you kidding me? I think you literally just tongued down your fucking dog.
Can you break this fight down, please?
Holy shit. I bring my dog on screen. You lose your fucking mind. But here's Angelo playing the fucking part. By the way, that dog is, I mean, that's how big Angelo is. That dog is 195 pounds and looks like a puppy.
40-pound dog.
Jesus Christ. You see how you just set him on the belly, too? Just nice little plateau there.
Uh-huh.
Listen, yeah, I have all the respect in the world for Dustin Poirier. He's a tough son of a bitch. He is probably going to be the more well-rounded fighter. He's going to be the better boxer in there. And honestly, I got to a point where it's like, I just don't think it's going to matter. I just don't think it's going to matter. And people are going to talk about the 5 rounds and what is BSD going to be after, and is he going to pace himself? Is it going to be a little bit slower pace from BSD to pace? He's not going to fucking pace himself. He's going to be who he is. He's going to be all over Dustin early, and I think he's going to wear Dustin down. And honestly, that 1.5 round line, it opened at minus 160. I think it's pushed to minus 230 or minus 240. I think that's going to be close, man. I really think that he's going to put enough pressure on Dustin in the first round. Not find a finish, but I think Dustin's going to be sitting on his stool in between rounds and thinking, fuck it, for the love of God, I don't want to get knocked out again. And if he gets me down to the ground, he is just going to get worn out and he is going to get submitted in the second round. I think it's going to be right there at the 230 mark, somewhere around there. I think just BSD is just going to be way too resilient. And as tough as Dustin is, you can only be tough for so long. And he kind of broke against Khabib. He kind of broke against Oliveira. That was a little bit later, right? Third round. I think BSD's on him early and just so relentless that he's going to break him kind of in that second round. It's going to be a close 1.5 line. I'm BSD all the way.
I'm giving Dustin way more credit than you are. We're on the same side of the pick. I'm just giving Dustin way more credit. If Dustin just lost a decision to Justin Gaethje, I actually would pick Dustin to win this fight. We have seen him in wars several times, but he was just knocked out bad. And I mean, he's 35 or whatever it is. Like, it's not, we've just seen this too many times. And Dustin is the type of guy that you root for. I will be rooting for Dustin in this fight.
He looks locked in. I like Bald Dustin.
I mean, I'll be rooting for him. I don't have a bet on this fight because I want to root for Dustin. I don't like betting, against the guy I'm rooting for. I'll be rooting for Dustin. But it's honestly better for the sport if Benoit wins.
I think that this is the fight I'm looking forward to the most, honestly.
There's so many questions here. We're going to learn so much about Benoit Saint-Denis in this fight.
This could be a crazy This could turn into a crazy back and forth. You saw, and people want to talk about the Zaleski. Like, oh, and I even saw it on Twitter. Like, he got lit up by Zaleski on a short notice up in weight fight when Zaleski was fucking juiced and beat this fucking dude's brains in. But he did not fucking stop, dude. I mean, he was like, he showed how fucking tough he is. This could be a wild fight.
Well, he's a special forces guy. Like, it's not.
That's equivalent to a Navy SEAL for the French,
I
believe.
Yeah, so it's not like he's not just like a fun athletic guy that I like MMA. Like, no, he's literally battle tested. Like, just a few weeks ago, Sean Strickland, who is like spiraling right now. Nothing dramatic, but like
spiraling. Well, you've seen
Ryan Garcia. But
I
like
read his space today of him talking to Andrew Tate too. Whew.
Well, Sean Strickland, and this is just a little bit of a rant, but it ties back to this with the whole Navy SEAL thing. But Sean Strickland posted some video like, my workouts are hard. Navy SEALs couldn't do my workouts. And then a Navy SEAL stitched it, was like, dude, I'm a fan. I appreciate you. I love the sport. We are not the same. We are not the same people. We're just not. Like, I am out there fighting for freedom, trained to kill, fighting for my life. The shit they put us through is not rounds on a bag and then some grappling. Well, dude,
he didn't even knock down a YouTuber.
It was very out of character for Sean Strickland to like call out Navy SEALs. Yeah, and then Sean Strickland responded to that and was like, apparently I pissed off a Navy SEAL. First of all, I'm very pro-troop. It's like, that's not how that came across. Like, Sean Strickland literally thinks he's the baddest guy on the planet. But then there's people like Benoit Saint-Denis who are actually proven, no matter what happens in this fight inside of a cage, human-wise, he's a very dangerous, scary man who mentally cannot be broken. The government literally teaches these people how to not break mentally. And I think that will matter here. I picked Dricus to beat Sean Strickland. And I literally was like, Sean Strickland's the better fighter. He's a durable guy, but like, Dricus just figures out how to win these damn fights. I think this is going to be the same thing. I think Benoit is just a small Dricus. He's a little sloppy. To pretend that he's like technical is crazy. He's not technical, but he just comes forward at just all gas, no brakes, stays in your face.
Like a dog with a bone.
It's a problem for a lot of people. So we're both on the same side here. I assume you will spend the $8,900 in DraftKings because you think he wins by finish pretty early.
Could get wild.
I think both of these guys are good value because this is a 5-round fight, and if it does go a little longer, both of them will continue to rack up points. And Dustin, $7,300, 5 rounds to work with, as battle tested as he is, could be good value as well. If you do want to check out the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member. It's only $10 a month.
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. There's over 600 people in here.
This guy with a couple of bad takes. He said, being military doesn't mean you can fight. It means you're mentally strong and can shoot weapons in a cage. Strickland. Dude, it's just, we're talking Navy SEALs.
And we're talking about training too, not fucking hand-to-hand combat.
Correct. And hand-to-hand combat is also very different than fighting in a cage with rules. So these are not fair comparisons. The point I was making is that Sean Strickland was saying Navy SEALs couldn't do his training. Him and Chris Curtis just go at it so hard that some of the most elite soldiers on planet Earth could not do it. It's crazy.
I think we got some super chats too.
We do. Thank you for the reminder. $1.99. Jacob,
not that
Jacob
one.
Be getting,
what the fuck? I thought
getting no
I thought
bitches.
you forgot about that one. It was fucking a long time ago. I thought you forgot about that one. What the fuck?
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
000. Gucci Gill, $4.99. What's up, boys? Just got done training. Have I missed the lock of the week? I'll go back and watch what I missed later. He doesn't do the lock of the week on this video. That will be dropped tomorrow, I'm assuming. But you did not miss it. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. And then Ashkin Bets. Can you guys do a full-on debate on who's superior at betting? Low-key would be entertaining. We're not going to do that right now. Thank you for the super chat.
Styles.
Jacob and I have very different styles. We're starting to get a little closer together, but I'm far more conservative. My bet slate is very typically money lines, some round lines, little parlays with those, where Jacob will dive a little deeper and look dive a little deeper and look for some other bets there. So very different styles. I might be able to one day on a call-in show or something go through last year's. I have every single bet we ever placed last year, our ROI, the success rates, all of that. We can.
Do you think that your balls are bigger than mine?
Next up at UFC 299, we have the main event of the evening. We have Sugar Sean O'Malley defending his belt for the very first time. We have Sugar Sean O'Malley trying to avenge his only loss in MMA against Marlon Chito Vera. Sean O'Malley is 17-1 overall, 4-0-1 in his last 5, and he is coming into his first ever title defense. He's taken on Chito Vera, 23-8 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the unanimous decision win over Pedro Munhoz. I mentioned this is a rematch. Most of you should know, but just in case you don't.
Is it really?
Chito Vera finished Sean O'Malley, and you may hear some slander.
You're fucking me.
You may hear some slander that it was a freak accident. It was
happened?
not a freak accident. Chito Vera blasted Sean O'Malley's leg so much that it shut the nerve off, and Sean O'Malley couldn't feel his ankle anymore. And that fight, he quit.
I heard that it was because he was wearing ankle wraps, and that's why.
Laid down like that.
I think it's because he was wearing
Fight
ankle
was
wraps,
over.
and it was a weird situation. It's kind of a fluke.
People want to say a freak injury. Now, there are people that have had freak injuries. Rafael Fiziev, that was a freak injury. Stepped back, blew his knee out after winning the first round. What we saw just 2 weeks ago in the co-main event, Brian Ortega jumping up and down before the fight even started. His ankle snapped in half. I can't even watch the replay. It's so uncomfortable.
It's a fucking roll. You need to relax. Everyone needs to relax. He rolled his ankle.
That was a freak injury.
If you ever play basketball, you just roll your ankle, you keep it moving.
And he did keep it moving, and he won that fight.
He just rolled his ankle.
And that was a freak injury. Getting your ankle blasted over and over and over, and then it not working anymore is not a freak injury. That's just you lost that fight. So I don't want to hear any freak injury nonsense.
You sound like a hater to me.
I actually am not a fan of either one of these guys.
Yeah, so I actually put it in Discord. I was like, I just thought about it the other day. I put it in Discord. I was like, I'm interested to hear his breakdown because he fucking hates both of these guys.
The difference is I genuinely don't like Sean O'Malley. I don't have a problem with Chito Vera. My issue with Chito when he was on that streak before he finally got embarrassed by Corey Sandhagen was that people made him out to be this like elite world champion that doesn't look like a human being, even though he is literally outstruck in every fight that he's in. He just hits so hard and has such a good chin, it doesn't matter.
These poor dogs, man.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We got main event. We got 900 people in here.
It's 10 o'clock at night, and the problem is Tiffany's not home, and he's just crying for food. You know how that beagle is. Anyway, Sean O'Malley, laser pinpoint accurate striker. We just saw it when he knocked out Aljamain Sterling. Lost that first round, but he takes his time. Jacob literally called exactly how he was going to finish him and when. That's exactly what happened. He stepped off, blasted him. He doesn't look, somebody said, I don't bet on people that look like they have an iron deficiency, which was an outstanding comment.
You're the one that you have all the bruises. That's your issue.
Anyway, Sean O'Malley doesn't look like he's athletic, but he is. He doesn't look like he has power, but he does. And he's very, very accurate with his strikes. And we know he can be a dog. In that Petr Yan fight, he was an absolute dog. That was a back and forth war. And he looked good in that fight. I personally don't think he won that fight, but I did leave that fight being like, all right, Sean O'Malley's not a pussy. He's not a bitch. He's not going to break. Like, he will go in a big time war to try to win a fight. He's taking on Chito Vera. Chito Vera is a very slow starter who hits. I see what you're doing. He's a very slow starter, but he hits insanely hard. He's insanely durable. And while he's not looking to offensively grapple, he will snatch things up in transition, snatch things up in scrambles. And he's very, very dangerous overall. You go watch the Rob Font fight. He got outstruck 2-1. 2-1. And then look at Rob's face and look at his face. Same exact thing with who's the Smeagol looking dude. Come on. Who's the Smeagol looking wrestler?
Josh Emmett?
Josh Emmett. Same thing in the Emmett fight. Same thing in the Dominic Cruz fight. Was losing that fight, being outpointed, outstruck. The movement was too much, and then he catches him and puts him out cold. Chito Vera is a tough matchup for a lot of people. This is an excellent fight. It is much closer than these odds. 3-1 for Sean O'Malley seems wide to me. A 1.5 round line would have been great because these guys are durable, but we didn't get that. We got a 4.5 round line. Sean is going to be the cleaner, more accurate striker. Cheeto will be the more durable and powerful striker. On paper, supposed to be a banger. I actually think this fight's going to be boring. I think Sean's going to be...
This is not a banger.
I think
a banger. Have you seen
I
that?
think, yeah, that TikTok guy, yeah.
This is not a banger.
That guy's funny. I think Sean O'Malley's going to be waiting for the perfect strikes. And Cheeto is not... Cheeto moves forward, but he's not reckless. He doesn't just... It's not chaos. He just sort of plots forward, throws what he throws, stays busy, insanely durable. You can hit his face 100 times, nothing happens. I am going to pick Cheeto here. Low confidence. I think it's just... I think the matchup is a tough matchup for Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley fades. His cardio is not spectacular. And Sean O'Malley, if you have a chin, look, he couldn't put out Chris Motino. I mean, he eventually did, but that's because he landed 200,000 strikes. I think Chito Vera is a bad matchup for Sean O'Malley, and I think that Chito Vera can win this fight, but this is going to be a razor-thin decision. And the last thing I'll mention before I hand it over is that I think Sean is obsessed with the spotlight, obsessed with people love me, I'm famous, I'm a big deal. I don't think Sean is going to be the crowd favorite in this fight. You're going to have a heavy Spanish community in Miami. People love Chito Vera. I think Sean is going to be thrown off when we get to the ceremonial weigh-ins and we get to some of that stuff and Chito's getting the bigger cheer. That doesn't affect the fight pick. That was just a little side note. What do you think, Jakey boy?
That was fucking
yeah, let me sit here and do all this fucking loser bullshit. It's so dumb. Yeah, the dog annoyed me, and then you pushed me over the edge doing this for 4 minutes.
Ooh. Can we get a live count on that blood pressure real quick? Let's take some guesses in the chat. What do we think that blood pressure's at right now?
The non-alcohol blood pressure is
Holy
fine.
shit.
Can we get your breakdown of this fight, please?
Yeah, let me just say that I am a Sugar fan. I did have him as my lock of the week versus Aljo. I predicted that fight absolutely perfect, literally with the step back right hand in the second round. Predicted it to a T. I know Sugar through and through. And I will say this. I can promise you there's one thing in this world. Sugar does not want to lose this fight. He's heard all the noise about from the first fight and this and that is like he does not want to lose this fight. Specifically, he does not want to get finished by Chito. And you saw against Aljo in that big moment, in a big fight, he was fucking locked in. And what is Sean O'Malley when he is locked in? He is fucking boring. He is fucking dancing around. He's keeping the distance. He wants to just touch. He was pacing himself for 5 rounds. And in this fight, if he starts doing that, and let's say this first round is a little bit close, and then that second round is a little bit close, I think that this fight can very easily turn in the 3rd round, in the 4th round, in the 5th round, because it's going to be Chito with a little chip on his shoulder, marching forward, and Sean will have the footwork, and he's going to be pumping that jab out. But I wholeheartedly believe you. And when you said that this is going to be a razor-close decision, I think Sean is very, very boring. Chito can be boring as well. I think this fight is boring. I think this is a split decision, very, very close fight. I think the minus 300 for Sean is a little bit insane. I don't know who the fuck is playing that. I think it's going to be a very close fight. Chito has shown how tough he can be, even if Sean comes out aggressive and is landing shots. But I still got to go with Sean because he is the better fighter. It should be a striking matchup. He should be the better striker. I don't think he's going to fade as much as people think he is because I think it's just a slower paced fight and he's going to be fine. So I think he's going to be able to do enough to take 3 rounds, but I would not be surprised if this is a wild split decision, maybe even like a 49-47 on both sides. You know, you have that sometimes where it's just like, I think it's a close, very close decision. I have to go with Sean because as a pick, because I think he is the better fighter. But I think it's going to be close, and I'm not playing like minus 300. It fucking seems insane for Sean. And I like Sean, man.
Yeah, I mean, those odds are wide. And what's interesting is that I agree Sean's the better striker for sure. Probably the better overall fighter. But almost everybody that Chito beats is. Go watch the Rob Font fight. Go watch the Dominic Cruz fight. Like, he is literally losing these fights. But he hits so hard. He's so durable. He has like... His skin doesn't break, and that sounds dumb, But damage is the number. Anytime we see somebody's face explode and the decision goes the other way, everybody's like, damage is a criteria. Damage is a criteria. Marlon shows no damage at all. So unless he gets chinned, which we haven't seen yet, this dude's just going to absorb and then give out. What's up?
I just thought of this, and I think it's 100% perfect. This is Sean Strickland versus Izzy. I believe Sean Strickland is more of that march forward kind of brawling. Obviously, Cheeto's a little bit cleaner striker, obviously more powerful than Sean Strickland. But Sean Strickland turned that fight when he landed that big punch. Otherwise, if everyone knew it was going to be Izzy dancing around and point fighting while he's getting walked down against the fence, that's just what Izzy did. I think Sean does the exact same thing, and it's going to be up to Cheeto. He's got to hurt this guy to score, and I don't know if he's going to be able to because Sean's a hard guy to find.
Yeah,
his footwork's so good.
So this guy said, This guy said, is it his skin or his technique? No, it's literally his skin. Go look at the Rob Font statistics. He got hit with like 200-something significant strikes. Nothing. Like clean as a whistle. Then go look at the Diaz brothers. You can flick a Diaz and they'll just get cut and start bleeding. Like, some of these things are just gifts. So I agree with you. Sean, I agree with you. Sean is the better fighter. I don't think it matters in this matchup. And the last thing I'll throw out there is in all of his UFC fights, Chito Vera has only ever landed more strikes than his opponent like twice. One of them was his last fight. So this is going to be an interesting fight. It'll be a very tense fight. I agree with you. I don't think it'll be an exciting fight per se because neither one of these guys are especially exciting unless they're getting pressured, and they're not going to pressure each other. Are you going to spend the $9,200 in DraftKings on Sean O'Malley? No, the only way he gets near that is if he finishes, and he's not going to finish Cheeto. So Cheeto at $7,000 to have 5 rounds to work with is actually a great DraftKings play in my opinion. Can
I make this point too?
Don't
don't be surprised if Sean uses offensive wrestling to win rounds because I think they know, and they're a smart camp, right? And Sean will do other things that, they game plan pretty well. I think they know the striking's going to be close. Don't be surprised if Sean comes in and shoots a takedown or two at the end of some close rounds to try to win rounds. And if he does, Cheeto can get taken down. So
sure. He can. He does have some like slick, snatchy type submissions, but yeah, I don't think.
And I'm talking like 30 seconds. That way you can stay out of the danger. You're winning the round. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing that.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, either way, we are split on this fight. I'm on the Cheeto side very slightly. You're on the Sean side very slightly. So while we're on opposite sides of the pick,
holding hands.
It's like right here. It's like right here.
We're right there.
Okay, I knew something was coming.
We're right. We're right like that.
I like Cheeto a little more for DraftKings Fantasy. $7,000 seems to be a good price point for a guy that we know can put up some volume and stay tough and has the finishing upside as well. If you want to unlock all of that, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, only $10 a month. And that premium membership is going to get you far more than some picks and bets. You're going to get some tools as well. The line movement tracker, opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement. We have some super chats. Let's touch these. We want dick pics. A French Navy SEAL. LOL. It's like saying a French bulldog is the same as American. We didn't say French Navy SEAL. We said the French Special Forces is the equivalent of the American Navy SEALs. Thank you.
He's saying you can't compare French troops with American troops, but usually they worked in unison, so they do a good job together. They think they go on a lot of missions together. What's your dog sound like? If you had, mine's like
Gucci Gill.
You're not. Come on,
I'm not gonna bark.
You go arf arf.
Yeah, woof. That's my. If I do that, actually, the little one just popped up. He'll howl. No? Okay. Anyway, Gucci Gill with the $5 said, I kind of like how Jacob's nosebleed was a freak accident, which is why he lost to Angelo. That wasn't a freak accident.
The word's getting out.
I fucking cracked him and his nose bled. And then Riff Raff with the 20 spot for Jacob's O'Malley pick. Jacob can gimme your Riff Raff tiptoe wing in my Jordans. Riff Raff sent us those Sean O'Malley shirts, Jakey boy, if you remember. Thank you very much, Riffity Raff. Guys, become a premium member. You're going to get all the things, the line movement tracker, the data, the metrics, analytics. More than just me and Jakey Boy. We got Artem breaking down far more than just UFC. And we got the Pick Doctor using AI to pick bets and fights. This door opened. Scout finally busted in here. What a joke. He just barged in. Feed me. Boom.
I'm glad I didn't see that. I probably would have literally had a heart attack.
I mean, because
if the door just swung open.
Hi, buddy. That's exactly what just happened. Thank God we're done. And then here are the socials. Follow the socials.
I can't believe I do this like for 6.5 hours every Sunday or every Saturday. It's fucking like nothing. We're almost 3 hours in. I'm fucking so sick of listening to you fucking yapping, dude. Jesus Christ.
Guys, thanks for hanging out. We had 650 live viewers. It might have even been higher than that. Very, very thankful for all of you. We appreciate it all.
Oh, yeah, in the chat.
Thanks, guys. I will be normal about this, and I genuinely appreciate every single one of you.
Please subscribe, though. I'm serious, though. Usually we're more professional.